the Giant Bombcast on this Tuesday, the 28th of January. Zero sugar cherry.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Today your energy is provided by a mainstream beverage purveyor.
I guess I might as well. I've never had this before, so I guess I might as well open it up and drink it on the show.
I didn't know that they...
Coke makes an energy drink.
I was wondering if we should say their name, because...
They're not paying us.
If we're gonna talk about a company big,
but that's why you can trust this review,
right?
That
you
I'm
can
about
say
to
it's
do.
bad.
They have deep pockets. We should.
All right,
here comes just
in a Red Bull size can.
Yeah, it is. That's
smells
weird.
like.
Is this a new thing for them?
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
I think so. I don't know that I've seen, but they've dabbled in drinks that have other shit.
Yeah,
in them.
I'm sure they own all kinds of brands that are energy, but I've never seen
Coke Zero Cherry is
straight up Coke
Zero Cherry is a
soda.
That's
also,
a legacy.
Couldn't you argue that regular Coke is already kind of an energy drink?
Caffeine doesn't do it for anyone anymore. It's the 90s. We're beyond that.
We're
shit.
in a post-jolt society.
This smells off.
Before you get in, like, are they pitching it as a Coca-Cola? As a cola beverage with energy?
Energy takes up like 1/8 of the can there.
It says like, Coca-Cola zero sugar cherry, which is a regular Coke Zero flavor.
This is okay.
Yeah. So this is just an energy variant of cherry Coke Zero.
How much caffeine are we talking in this Red Bull size?
I don't know. They never say.
They'd say. They have to say.
They only have to. They only say. They don't.
I think they just have to say contains caffeine, right?
Yeah.
I don't think they have to say how much.
Actually have to say, and it's not in the nutrition facts because it's caffeine, not nutrition.
But in an energy drink, you're supposed to say because
it's an advertising slogan, though. It's not. You're only supposed to say if you're saying like it's fucking 300 milligrams, motherfucker.
No, I mean,
so
that's a lot.
Every
like
energy drink I've had,
wasn't
maybe says it's in small print on the back.
Isn't there a legal limit?
Probably.
So around like 70 something. Because wasn't that the whole thing with Jolt? Is like they were like 1 milligram over.
But then like that's probably all changed since then.
Yeah, maybe so.
Oh yeah.
Jolt's in the drinking water now.
It's much like marijuana. The energy is much more potent these days.
Yeah,
turning the frogs energetic
since the 60s.
Ooh, okay.
Blah. Blah. Blah.
Just making a bad face.
Like in relation to regular like zero.
I like a cherry Coke Zero sometimes. Okay. I'll deal with it. This tastes like if someone took a cherry Coke Zero and some Raid.
Oh, the poison.
The ant, yes, for ants. Raid for ants.
Okay.
And mix that together.
It's for ants now.
Yeah. It makes my tongue and the top of my mouth feel a little weird.
That's the vitamin B.
It's working.
Okay.
It's working.
I don't think it...
Going for a second sip.
Because sometimes the second sip is better. Okay, no, it looks like it might be worse.
That's
that was a decidedly face.
It's very off. It's very off in a way that like energy drinks are not usually off. It's like a different type of off.
Okay.
See, if you had just tasted
like
this,
maybe if they sprayed some Raid and some off in there.
I started to ask if it's worse than the stuff we had on UPF, but you weren't here for that. What was that?
It was a Four Loko sour.
You weren't here either. Four Loko sour.
I thought I got excited because I thought it was a seltzer, but then I read the can afterwards. It's sour. It was like bright green.
It was the weirdest shade of it. Like you know what Slimer looks like?
Oh yeah,
it's that color of green. Like it literally looked like liquid ectoplasm.
Ecto Cooler.
So
it looked like Ecto Cooler,
but 14%.
Oh, you guys are talking about Onion Head.
And it was horrible. Oh, it was so bad.
I only know him by his Christian name.
It did not taste.
It's like someone melted a Jolly Rancher. Like
that sounds good.
Yeah, but more chemical.
Lots more
ounces of codeine.
More chemical in nature.
Okay.
After this, I'm going to go get one of these energy Coke things and a Four Loko sour and just see maybe the missing equation is you just put them together.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, but that wasn't like a White Claw, was it? Like that was not their attempt. Somebody said it was like their attempt to compete with. White Claw.
There is a Four Loko seltzer.
Okay,
but that's
not
the sour is just here's a variant flavor of Four Loko.
Okay,
which there are many.
Okay. Still never had a White Claw to this day.
It's
It's
all right. It's
extremely sippable.
Okay.
And borderline enjoyable.
They're fine.
The Bud Light seltzers, stay away from those. Those are very bad.
Really? Like worse than a White Claw? I figured it would all be the same.
How does it compare to the natural light seltzer?
Yeah.
Okay. I would take a Bud Light seltzer over the Natty Light seltzer because that was like sickeningly sweet.
Yeah, it smelled really good.
It smelled really good. It was very floral. But the Bud Light
What
seltzer.
you want from your
Elegant bouquet to the Natty Light.
Yeah.
Good with a cake, but
okay. Yeah.
What kind of ABV are we talking in these things?
not enough.
Well, the Four Loko one is 14%.
Yeah, that one.
I think it might be 12 or something.
12%,
where regular Four Loko is 14 or something.
And a White Claw is like
that one hit hard. Yeah.
Okay.
6.
All right, that's
6 to 8.
That's not
range,
nothing.
I think.
Not nothing.
No.
But they sell them in
little
smaller
cans.
cans.
Yeah.
So, like, I guess there are
you
bigger
drink
cans.
like 12 of them.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, now you're talking.
I just buy them by the case.
I don't know. White Claw, I was not impressed.
I think it's all in the flavor. I think
I got cherry.
Cherry's all right. Lime is the worst.
Black cherry's up there.
Black cherry's up there. There was an orange.
Did they do a cherry and a black cherry? I feel like that's weird to do both.
There was a citrusy one that I liked. I couldn't remember.
There's a grapefruit.
No, it might have been it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is White Claw here to stay, or is that being declared very last?
I think that's the only one of the crop that'll survive.
It's not very last decade at this point.
Not yet. There's still
Not last year's drink.
It's still the like choice if you like. They're selling them at bars, and loud groups of people who are still wanting White Claw, and I mean, like there's actual dietary reasons to choose that over like a vodka soda or something with like soda in it. It's like the people who will drink Michelob Ultras even though they're gross and bad. I mean, that was me.
I would probably rather drink a Michelob Ultra than
a White Claw.
Most of the White Claws, I guess.
It's only almost February here. We have a real opportunity to get a jump start on
lock down the seltzer.
No, figure out what the drink of this summer is going to be.
Oh, the drink of this summer.
Get ahead of the curve.
For Cinco, it's Corona again.
Great. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Great. All right.
Well, if the hard seltzer thing is pretty much cashed, because that's like everyone's already in on it.
Right.
It's got to be something else.
It's got to be the opposite.
Do you think is there a pendulum swing effect where people are like, no, I want it to be full of flavor and hard as fuck?
Here, check this out. It's a solid cube that you take bites out of.
Okay.
It gets you drunk. Okay. And it tastes like...
Is it just a cube that someone cut out of a watermelon and then poured a bunch of rum over it?
It's a little chewier.
Is it a gigantic Jello shot?
It's got to be something that really like is, because like the White Claw thing is they're extremely drinkable. This needs to be opposite. This needs to be a chore to eat. This needs to be like cakey.
So Jägermeister is back again. Okay, great.
Oh man,
I wasted a few summers with Jägermeister.
I've not thought
the Jäger cube.
Yes, a Jäger cube.
It looks just like the Borg cube.
Yeah. Have you guys ever done the watermelon thing where you like stick a bunch of bottles of alcohol in it? Oh God, what if we just do that and then make that into Jello? I don't know how that works.
I don't know how Jello works.
Jello.
You just put gelatin in, right?
Yeah. You put enough in, it'll eventually.
Cool it out? I don't really know.
Yeah. Well, you can't heat it up too much. You burn off the alcohol, don't you?
Oh, that's true.
Okay. We need to figure out the math for this, and
what
then
if we
add
boil
it to the
in
Jäger
alcohol?
cube.
Is that a thing?
I'm excited to see if our publishing system can deal with the special characters in Jäger later today. Let's see how that
goes. We are the Jägermeisters.
Yes, we'll see how that goes.
How about Baron Jäger? Something nice. Something classy.
There was a coffee Jäger that I tried, which was terrible.
Whoa. Ooh.
I mean, I like Fernet, but this is...
I went down
do you like
weird...
Fernet, or do you like being someone who can handle Fernet in front of people?
I like Fernet because I love Ricola.
Okay, all right.
I love the taste of a Ricola.
Okay. You know what?
And if a Ricola can get me drunk,
I'm kind of okay with the taste of a Ricola too.
Yeah, sure.
It, but like,
sure.
Fernet.
Speaking of floral, gets up in the.
Oh God,
it's the bartender's
sinuses.
drink.
Oh sure,
it sure is. Love Fernet.
The bartenders love to watch you order and drink Fernet. Idiot.
They know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
Video games. Shall we discuss
them?
It's a game. Okay.
Shall we?
Buckfast. Let's talk about it.
Ooh.
Buckfast.
We still got that
Buck Bumble
emergency bottle over there on the set.
I
don't know how long that stuff lasts.
And I have a bottle at home too. And exactly. Do you?
I'm sure
Buckfast has never been around long enough to expire, right? No one's sitting there sitting on a bottle of Buckfast going like, I gotta wait for just the right time.
I mean, generally alcohol lasts, well, not beer, but like anything harder lasts for years, but I don't know what else is in that stuff.
It gets better over time.
It's like a fortified rice wine, I think.
Is it?
So it ages well.
Is it really?
Yeah, probably.
It should be fine, then.
Huh.
Like a Mad Dog 2020 or something like that. I think that's what those are.
Delicious.
Yeah. I had, so I was sitting on 3 or 4. I was telling Alaska this earlier. I had 3 or 4 different things of Sparks, like they sold them in 4-can bundles of pre-banned Sparks.
Oh,
yep.
And I broke some out and brought some to E3 one year, which I don't know. Were you there for? You were not there.
Maybe
You might not have been there. That might have been before you were there for that. That was.
Wait,
No, you.
Wait, this is like
No,
way
yeah.
way long ago.
This is like
When did they get
first
banned?
or second year of Giant Bomb.
Oh, yeah. Why wouldn't I have been there?
Yeah, I guess you would have been there. Yeah, of course.
It's here before the website launched.
Yes, of course. Yeah. Well, we had an E3 before the website launched. Also, I think it was that E3. I think it was that first E3.
No, we all went to that.
Okay. All right. We were all there then. Okay.
You were there for the sparks.
Anyway, I brought some sparks down. I don't know if you remember. I smuggled sparks into a bar.
That does sound familiar.
We went to that Kotaku party,
Yes.
and I smuggled sparks
Yes.
into like pre-band
I totally
sparks
remember.
into
Yes,
a bar.
I totally remember that Kotaku party.
Okay. All right then. Just so we're all on the same page. So I've had it for at least that long.
Okay.
And actually a little bit longer because I had it from before they banned it, and I found the last 4 cans of it about 2 months ago in a cabinet. I'd gotten rid of most of it because like as the years wore on, even back then I remember it tasting a little bit like dirt, and I was like, okay, this is not going to last. And then I like a few years ago was like, I have to get rid of this stuff. So not only did I find 4 cans, one of them had somehow burst open.
Oh no!
In the decade that it sat in there, and there was this heinous orange sludge all over everything in this cabinet. And I was like, I thought about it, but instead I went and bought. I was like, I went to Amazon and just said, send me the fucking most murderous cleaning product you've got, because I've got this sticky sludge here. And they sent me stuff that I was literally afraid of. This big jug of lemon scented stuff there's just so many different.
They send you like a hazmat suit to wear while you
I
use
wish.
it.
I was sitting there going like, oh fuck, I should have got gloves, because everything on it was like, dilute this, fucking dilute this. Do not dilute this. So I had to find a spray bottle and mix it together and spray it on the sparks goop, and then try to peel the sludge up. I was scared. I was scared of the cleaning products. I was scared of the spark sludge.
Yeah.
I have not cleaned a thing since. That cabinet is now empty, save for whatever is left of the sludge.
The other
It's
sparks
still
cans?
airing.
Yeah, no, I got everything out of there. Like, also, it had melted. That was
You
where
had the chance to combine pre-band sparks with hyphy, and you didn't take that
I know.
chance.
Yeah. My hyphy just showed up.
Oh, okay. So it was legit.
Yeah,
Good.
the hyphy website works. I can report. It is not as it looks
they wanna
like
sponsor
a
us,
gigantic
please.
scam.
We'll edit that last part out.
But yeah, so also that was where all my phone books were kept. So it was like an 8-year-old phone book had also been cemented to this shelf by sparks. And I'm trying to do all this without my wife walking in and seeing the horror of the mess and go like, what the fuck did you do in this house before I lived here? Yet again.
It's better if you don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, I need to get in there with like a paint scraper or some kind of scraper and get
Just
the
by
rest of that up.
shelving at this point. It's
Yeah, I should. Yeah.
All I know about Buckfast is that when you open the official, I don't know if it's official, the Find Me Bucky app, which is your way to locate stores that sell Buckfast.
That exists.
Yeah, the closest one's in Cuba.
No, I mean the app. Holy.
Oh yeah.
Shit. What?
When you load up that app, it says
Find Me Bucky.
Buckfast, the Wreck the Hoose juice, which I think is delightful.
Yes, the Wreck the Hoose juice. What else? Buckfast gets you fucked fast.
Oh,
I think is another
that's probably
one.
true.
Love.
Yeah.
That's on the bottle.
It's that's the alcohol that they had to switch to plastic bottles to avoid bar fights from breaking
I
out.
believe that's the
Yeah.
case. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
You can get a tattoo that says "Love to Hoos."
Yes.
Well,
anyway, this Coke Energy I don't think is very good.
Well, that concludes our discussion of video games this week. Thanks for
Right.
joining us.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
much.
yeah.
What do we got going on?
Super Mash.
Super Mash.
I played some Super Mash.
What is that?
It is it's a kind it is okay. It's a story-driven game in which a trio of characters who are operating a game store find out that they've lost their lease, and they are given an old game console that takes 2 cartridges at once and a bunch of cartridges that all have genres written on them, and you have to plug in, and then yes, exactly. So you have like cartridges that are Metrovania and JRPG and Shoot 'em up. And
okay.
Yeah.
I thought Metroidvania was already a fused
no
idea.
Yeah, right.
I need to look this up. I've never heard of this before.
Yeah, no, this came
is
out
this?
the last year. It's on the Epic Store. If nothing else, I think it might just be there. I don't know. Might be on Switch. Seems like the sort of thing that would be on Switch. Anyway, the core idea is really awesome because it's like, oh, you're going to get these cartridges. You also, as you complete the mashes, you get cards for the characters and items that you find in those games, and you can pull those in, kind of use those to kind of customize and do some different stuff.
And mash stuff up.
The games themselves are not super fun.
That's always a
yeah,
problem
like that's
with this style of game.
yeah.
The like intentionally retro, multiple genre thing is like you can do a lot of them okay, but none of them are necessarily great.
So this one's trying to do a lot of because it has. And I assume I've not played a ton of it, but I assume you get more cartridges later on or more variants or something that is going to mix that stuff up a little bit more. But even with the 8 or so that you get out of the gate, 6 or 8 or however many it is, like I started trying to piece those together and make different things. And some of them were like interesting. You look at it and go like, oh, okay, yeah, it's like a superficially, I see the kind of Metrovania aspect of this, and then if I accidentally touch an enemy instead of shoot them, it breaks into JRPG combat, which is not especially good.
You'd just rather shoot them, probably, right?
Yeah. It's like it's a way easier way to go than whoops, I bumped into him, and now I have to go through this whole turn-based fight. Oh, also, all of the games operate on a timer. So like all the goals are more or less like you've got 5 minutes to find 7 of these things, or you've got 7 minutes to beat 50 things. Like that's the win condition for everything I've seen so far. Maybe that changes later on. And so in some of those, like I saw 0 of the things I was trying to kill. I mixed a shoot 'em up in a JRPG and became like a JRPG character with a wooden staff floating through the air, almost like Parodius style or something, kind of clubbing these snakes with my thing. And if I bumped into them, it would turn into straight up like Final Fantasy IV or like active time battle, like meter filling, determined turn combat.
Looking at these screenshots, they're not shy about their influences.
No, absolutely not. It's really clever, and I think it is a really cool idea. Like cool enough that like even though the mashup games that I've gotten have not been great, there's still some part of me that wants to just like dig deeper into it to see if I find something good.
Yeah.
I did just pull up the GameSpot review if you would like to hear the scores.
What I'm hearing is that the tone of your voice says it does not get better.
They gave it a 3 out of 10.
Okay. Oh. Well, that seems harsh, I'll say, but I haven't. Also, I've not finished the game.
The genre mashes are shallow, repetitive, and uninteresting.
Yeah. Okay.
A few mashups can produce amusing, although short-lived results. So this just came out in December. This was like
it's pretty late in the year.
We were like in Game of the Year production when this came out. So
and
it's
not
that,
that like for the last few weeks I've been like meaning to try it out because the concept is really cool.
That was my problem with that game. Was it called 20XX? The kind 19XX is like it's
that just came out on Switch, I think.
It's like it's an interesting idea where it's telling a story about arcade goers, and so you occasionally dip into these homages to
like here's an
Streets
Outrun
of Rage,
style,
Outrun, whatever. But they just those
1980X
necessarily super fun to
that's
play.
the one. Yes.
Yeah.
There is also a game called 19XX. Though.
Yeah, that's the Mega Man.
And 20XX.
No, 20XX,
that's
the Mega Man.
That's the Mega Man randomizer.
19XX is a take on 1943. Like it's a vertical scrolling shooter.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
And then, of course, there's Feel the Magic
from
XX,
back then.
XY.
Capcom made
from the 90s, it looks like?
Yeah.
Huh.
Or no, is that Capcom or is it like Psycho or something?
It says released by Capcom.
Okay, all right. Like at some point. Anyway.
It's all been done.
Sure. Putting X's in your game titles.
Edgy.
Been on it for a while.
What is 20X? Oh, 20XX is that
like
side
that
scroller.
randomized Mega Man.
Yes. Okay.
Rogue, run-based.
It's too much.
Dude, right?
Yeah. Also, we're ready to just move on to 21XX now, right?
I guess so.
Like, the entirety of last century was 20XX, so
now,
like we're here. It's time to.
It's time to.
What is that
say
gonna? What's that
22XX? I guess because you want your game to seem like it's happening in the future, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to be 30 years in the future?
Yeah.
Not me.
Not me. 5 minutes in the future, maybe. 20 minutes in the future. Let's talk about it.
Live in the now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of now,
Yes.
Journey to the Savage Planet.
Ooh.
Comes out today.
It's out now.
Yes, it is out now. Ben, I know you've been playing some of it.
Yeah.
I too have dipped into it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Interesting. I
What kind of game is
It's like It's tempting to
like
say
a survival game.
It's tempting,
It is like a
yes,
survival
yes. It's tempting. It's tempting to say it's like a survival game, but it's kind of not. It has the trappings of a survival game, but it's actually very linear and like hand designed.
Okay.
Like you do collect crafting materials that you need to cash in to buy upgrades, but like
Still beating on trees.
the upgrades, no. It's not like that at all.
Okay.
It's more of a. I mean, it's
You
more
do
of a
have
first-person
collecting
shooter.
flowers and
Yeah, like you collect like
goo
carbon
or something,
and
yeah.
silicon.
Yeah, so you
and-
do have to farm out materials from like killing enemies sometimes.
Yeah, so
but-
like the most survival it's gotten is that I just got the next like story upgrade, and then I went to go buy it in my ship, and I got there, and I was like, oh, you don't have enough carbon.
Yep.
So I had like the unique item I needed, but not enough just the generic mats. But it's not like it's not open ended. It's not like I'm gonna go out and craft whatever I feel like and like build a campfire or
No,
whatever. It's
you're-
very like linear and story driven.
Your tech tree only really has like I can't tell, but maybe like 8 to 10 actual upgrades.
You mean
and
like
then
the unique?
unique
like,
items,
yeah.
and then a couple like you craft the pistol pretty early on, and then it'll have a couple like ancillary upgrades
Yeah.
for the pistol.
It's like there's a jetpack
more
and-
ammo,
and a-
or
yeah, there's like a jetpack and a grappling hook and like kind of basic stuff, and then
Yeah.
it's like, oh, now you can use the jetpack longer and stuff like that.
how far have you gotten?
I
got.
meant to check my percentage. I think I'm around like 30% completion or something
Okay.
like that.
Are you in the second like set of areas you can fast
Yes,
travel to?
I just got the
that's about where I am.
jetpack, like the full jetpack.
Okay,
upgrade,
I'm on
and
the quest to get that.
That's the one I couldn't build because I didn't have enough mats for it.
It's interesting to see this take on because like pre-release, I didn't know much about this game, but I saw people wondering like, is this like a Subnautica where it's like you have a base and you're slowly like building all this stuff, but it really is more like a. I don't know. I don't
Say
hate
it.
to say it. It's more like a Metroidvania.
I was totally going to say it feels sort of like a Metroid.
Early on, you like see some places that very obviously you can grapple hook to. Also, straight out of Metroid, it has the Metroid Prime scanner that like kind of like flip into this vision,
Sure.
scan an object. It's going to tell you
Oh,
what
right,
this thing
yeah.
is. Like,
It's
if
a,
it's
like-
an enemy, it'll tell you like its weaknesses.
Yeah, it's like a legitimately fairly useful scanner.
Oh, yeah,
actually.
I'm
Like, it
always in
actually
that thing.
gives you a lot of tips about what to do.
It highlights anything that you haven't scanned as like full orange, and then stuff that you have scanned is like kind of half filled in. So you kind of always flip to that back and forth just to see if there's more stuff you can search for. And then it'll tell you like, oh, this door has a crack on it. Maybe if you had something explosive, you could get back in here. And
Yeah, like I like that aspect of the game. Like I
Yeah.
first like hour and a half or 2 hours, I thought I really didn't like it because
So
it just starts very slow.
So I played this at E3,
Yeah.
or pre E3, and it was a demo that basically started at the start of the game.
Oh wow, okay, yeah. So
And I was just like, man, I don't think this is. I'm having a terrible time with this.
Like by about 90 minutes into it, I was like, I don't know if I want to keep going with
Yeah.
this. And then I got the grappling hook and the double jump, and I was like, all right, now there's something here.
all I could really think was like, this is a really hard game to demo at an event like
Yeah.
this
Well,
because
it's not just being at an event because, like I said, I think even playing it at home, like it really
Yeah,
takes some
yeah.
time.
But I think
It's
for me,
just-
it was like it was all of that compounded with the knowledge of just like I'm going to walk away from this, and if I ever choose to play this game again, I'm going to have to start from scratch.
and you can't
So
really
none
plop
of it
someone
matters
in the middle
Yeah,
of that
well,
game
yeah,
because
yeah,
you have
it's
so
like-
many weird upgrades
Yeah.
at that point that
right.
you wouldn't
So,
really know
but
where
it
to go.
was
what to do.
like a really bad demo.
Yeah,
Like, just
I think-
sitting down for it and just going like, okay, and they've got their like, okay, did you guys find the game funny at all?
So that's the other thing is that it really wants to be a funny
really
game, and
thinks
I would say like maybe 10% of the humor is landing for me.
I think it aims for like what a Control does, and then lands closer to what was that snowboarding game?
Amped 3.
Amped 3.
Okay, see, I really liked Amped 3,
in
but-
2020.
Yeah, Amp 3 came out a long time ago.
Yeah,
A lot of like
sure, yeah.
funny advertisements for your fake food, and we're gonna list like it's the whole joke is like the food that they eat is this purple synthetic goop, but here's like it can taste like Parmesan cheese or Frito, and then it just like lists like 50 things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Increasingly ridiculous things it can taste like.
That's kind of the whole vibe of the joke. It made me actually like I appreciate this more. It made me hate Borderlands more because the thing about like
Wow.
two games that I don't necessarily find extremely funny, but Borderlands, it's in your face at all times. You have to listen to the characters. It's everyone screaming
Yeah.
jokes at you. This is like you go back to the ship and there's an ad playing on your TV,
And you can just like
that
keep doing your thing. And,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty easy to ignore. Although, like well, I don't know what the budget of the game was. They should have maybe made a few more fake TV commercials because they start repeating
pretty frequently
20 or 30 minutes into the game.
because you're going back to that ship a lot.
Yeah, and you've got a computer AI telling you what to do, and she's kind of that like I'm very upbeat and twee about the delights of committing murder type stuff. But like, it's not terribly written. Like, I feel like that character is okay. It's there's some genuinely okay.
It reminds me of like Invader Zim.
Kinda, yeah.
Like.
It's not like
Zim is back.
2020 is the thing. It's like it's not offensively bad. It's just kind of like
Yeah.
Like, it's not for the most part. It's fine.
I guess that's kind of the impression I got, was just like, this game really wants to be a funny game, and
I like the premise of it. It was like you signed up to do some exploration for the 4th best space travel company in the world, so everything's kind of budget and hacky. And I think like you could do some interesting stuff with that.
Yeah, like you get there, it's supposed to be an uninhabited planet, and you get there, and there's like a giant tower in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And they're like, what the fuck is this? Like, there weren't supposed to be aliens here. We've never met aliens before. You should figure out what this is. And like, that aspect of it is kind of intriguing, like, as I dig into it more.
It's a little more it's way more combat focused than I thought it would be. You have like a dodge, and you have to fight bosses with weak points, and you have to kind of like it's combat puzzly.
So you fought that first boss?
The first boss,
the giant crab.
I fought the giant crab, and then I fought the one that has like the tentacle bulbs, and it shoots like rings of fire out.
That's the same one.
Oh, that's the crab. I couldn't really tell.
So the duck, like if you're standing still, the button ducks you. If you're moving, it dashes you instead.
Yeah.
And that boss has attacks that you have to duck.
Oh,
and if you're moving, when you hit what you think is the crouch button,
because you're also on platforms above lava.
Yes, you're also on tiny you will dash into his attack instead of ducking under it.
Lots of first-person platforms.
It's pretty wonky. Yeah.
Which, if that is something you are opposed to, this game is probably not.
Yeah,
for
like
you.
if you've got to.
That was what I ended up spending most of my time with it doing. Is like, it was like, oh, get way up here into these trees or whatever it was to find this item, and I was like, I don't see a clear path to get here, so I'm just gonna start jumping up.
You've got a double jump that looks like it'll become a triple jump, and you're going to get a full jetpack, and you've got a grappling hook, and you've got to space out a bunch of platformy jumps using
a running
those tools.
jump will get you a lot further.
Yeah.
And they do a good job of slowly training you to use the tools.
I don't mind first person platforming
really
generally, and it's been fine for me. But if you really hate it, then there's a lot of it in this game. Yeah, like it started really slow, and I thought I didn't like it for a while, and then all of a sudden something happened where I was like, I'm starting to kind of enjoy this. Like,
all right,
the thing they're not really the same kind of game, but it almost reminded me of Grow Home a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Not
interesting.
I could see.
Not at all in the gameplay, because Grow Home is a game where you have like a really flexible tool set. You can climb and grab anything. And that game just gives you these like powerful abilities and lets you find your own way. And this game is 100% the opposite. It's like you're going to do exactly what the designers want you to do.
I definitely.
But I was going to say, but it's a similar like big, fanciful, colorful world full of secrets. There's tons of secrets in this, like tons of upgrade secrets. I don't know how many of those like the little orange blob things you found. There's just tons of like you start with a small amount of health and you can only sprint for like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
There's tons of like
there's 100 of them.
Yeah, there's 100 of these fairly well hidden collectibles that, and every time you get a couple of those, you get more health. I think and stamina.
The one bit I saw in that game that I was like, oh, that's like funny ish. Was like every time you eat the goop, it's just like, I don't know. All right, you're just kind of like stuffing.
You just like
that's this game, right? I'm not like making that up. Yeah,
you're not even eating. Like, I was about to say that is like you like in your mind, you're like, yeah, I'm eating this goop and powering up. But then like the 10th time I did it, I realized he's just smashing it on the front of his helmet.
Yeah, there are some like pretty amusing like first person animations.
Yeah, your melee attack is this very like over exaggerated
swat. Yeah, like there's some decent personality to it, but yeah, I'm just getting into the aspect of roaming around this big world, looking for secrets and just kind of having fun grappling around and stuff. Like there's something there. It just takes a little while to get into it.
I was a little too I was concerned it was a little too linear up. Obviously, I knew it was going to be a linear game. Like it is a designed world. It's not like a Minecraft, but I just felt that there wasn't enough secrets or weird things until I got to that second area, and you start to realize like, okay, this place is way bigger than you think it is at first, and then I probably don't even know the tools that I don't have that would make exploring this first area be
like if they had just maybe front loaded that starting area with a little more of the stuff you're going to get into later, I think it might have made a better first impression. But
some sort of abilities.
Sure. But I think it's not bad. It's $30, so it's not a huge commitment. It seems like it's, looking at my percentage completion, it's probably like a 12 hours to finish, maybe like 15, 20 hours to if you want 100% it.
Yeah. Online, any kind of...
It has co-op, which we haven't tried yet, but I think we might try that for the quick look.
Cool.
Yeah, it's it's okay.
Yeah, it seems all right. I'm gonna try a little more just to. They do a good. It's a good late title card of like when you first get out there and see that big tower, and I was intrigued enough to be like, I want to know what that tower is all about, just because it looks so distinct.
Yeah, and they do the big in-world game logo stuff like that stuff. I hit a point where like for the first couple hours I was like, all right, I'm gonna play enough of this to do the quick look, and then at some point I rolled over to like, maybe I'll just keep playing this till I finish it. Like there is something to it, for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's it's $30, so
all right,
not bad.
It's on Epic, PS4, and Xbox.
Yeah, I think that's right. You guys got any other games?
I'm finding lots of monster tracks.
Oh yeah,
Jesus Christ! I'm sick of hunting down tracks. That's all that I'm doing. Like I'm getting further in the game, right? I'm getting cutscenes and shit, but then they're like, well, let's go fucking find the Elder Dragons again. Let's go fucking walk around and find tracks. And it's...
You're saying Monster Hunter gets repetitive.
It does get rather repetitive. So this is like the third or fourth time that it like breaks up the story with these things, and they do not need to have this in the game by any means, because it just completely stalls the action. Any kind of forward momentum that it gets going.
You're talking about Iceborne? Right?
Yeah, with Iceborne, yeah. Sorry. That's all that I'm playing. Again. Still.
Speaking about monsters.
A different kind of monster.
Oh.
Hey, this
there we
guy
go.
over here knows.
Right.
Oh boy.
That was kind of a weird release last week. I almost forgot about that. I forgot that
Last
happened.
week was like my week, guys.
I know.
Temtem came out. Well, it's still in early access, but came out on Steam. People have been. It's like the Pokemon killer. That's an MMO.
finally we can kill these Pokemon.
Finally, they won't faint.
I'm gonna kill a
bury
Tauros.
them. Oh, why would you kill a Tauros? Anyway,
Shoot it.
it's
a gun.
It had a really, really rough launch because everything would break the game, and then the developers were facing huge ass queues of people trying to like jump in and everything. But for what they have so far, it's pretty neat. It's pretty fleshed out. It's like there's a bunch. It follows the Pokemon formula like hardcore, but it does a lot of neat things different than that. One of the neat things right off the bat is instead of sending out one Pokemon, you send out two of your Temtems. So there's a little bit more of like.
See, you've gotten the lingo down.
I know.
What do you store the Temtems in?
You store them in cards.
What are the cards called though?
Temtem cards.
Okay.
I think
they're cool. They look like they're cybery. They're like
they're like
clear,
glass.
like,
They're like these glass. They almost look like microscope slides or something. They're just like these glass cards with a little monster in them. But I see you finally.
Yes. A friend of mine.
They're Temtems, not Pokemon.
Yeah, no saying the P word.
That was an ongoing problem.
Yeah. A friend had watched that unfinished and then sent me a count of how many times I said Pokemon when I meant to say Temtem. And then if we're playing a drinking game.
I mean, I guess that means the Temtem developers are doing a good job of like attracting that audience, right?
Oh, 100%.
I mean, they got the oh god, which one's which? Is this is the game that has IVs and
This is
Pokemon has
EVs and IVs.
EVs and IVs.
This has SVs and
TVs.
Trained.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Trained. Yes.
So it follows. They got the same stat column, same stat columns, just different acronyms.
That's in interviews they've said like, well, we're very inspired by Pokemon. Like, yeah, no shit.
It is really not pretending.
Yeah.
But like, let's start to say who else has done that. I mean, like Digimon.
Digimon's tried to do that with like a bunch of different titles.
Like, has anybody ever gone this like 1-to-1 though?
There was a small indie game that came out last year called Disc Creatures that kind of followed a similar format, but didn't want to blow it up to like this scale. So far, I don't see the need for it to be an MMO because a lot of the interactions with other folks are just seeing them run around the world and then like challenging someone that's in the same instance that you're in right now. I haven't gotten that to work per se.
So can you like party up with a player and go out and do co-op stuff?
Yeah. The developers have said that you can go through the whole campaign co-op with another person, and I think that lends to the whole 2v2 thing versus just sending one out.
And they have a full roadmap, and one of the things on that list is like crews, like dedicated teams.
I love when you love nice crews.
You have a nice crew battle.
Temtem cruise.
Okay, forget it.
Oh no, we're not
type
talking
of
about the 3
I'm gonna go on the Pokemon cruise.
So you can imagine that could be
Temtem
kind of
crazy.
cool, just rolling up with your whole team against somebody else's whole team. And
Yeah, we were a little skittish about doing any of the co-op or any of the multiplayer stuff, period, in that
Anything
video,
with
because
menus.
that, anything
Seems like the game is very frail.
anything interacting with another player apparently was most risky to.
Seems to have gotten a lot better. I played up to where we got the second island, basically.
Yeah.
Is that like a different landmass from what we saw in that?
No, that was the one we like traveled to at the very end.
with the airship, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
How many Temtems are there?
More than 80, I want to say.
Yeah.
There's also they do the thing where, there's some Temtems are weaker to other Temtems, but then they're also weaker to each other if they're the same type.
Digital beats digital.
Digital beats digital. Okay, all right.
Remember that.
The game is doing like a lot of neat things. Like your Temtems have stamina versus like a number of moves they
like
can
a stock.
do. Yeah, versus like a stock. So that'll recharge in between battles. This game is very, very grindy though. Like I wound up having to.
It's not free to play, is it?
No, it's what is it? 35?
35.
Yeah, $35.
35. It's very grindy, which I think like the hardcore or like people that are fans of the original Pokemon games are more of a fan of. Like there's no EXP share. If you want to level up your Temtems, you have to throw them up front or switch them in. And a lot of people like want that type of stuff to take up their time.
This whole game is kind of catered around towards that audience
Like
more
the
than
Pokemon
the
Classic.
Yeah, sure.
the hardcore.
We finally have a hardcore Pokemon audience that needs to be.
No bikes, motherfucker.
Yeah, there's no bikes.
There's no bikes.
That's right.
Yeah.
But
You can
there
get
is a Dark
Surfboard.
Dark Souls vial.
Yes. Okay. So
what's it called? Estus Flask.
Yeah, so that actually is like a neat introduction or thing in this game where instead of taking your Temtem to like the Pokemon Center equivalent or wasting a bunch of potions or revives, you just slap a vial up, heals the whole party.
Yeah.
And that recharges every time you go to a Temtem
Vet. I think they.
Temperant? I forget what it's called. Temporium.
Nice. Okay.
Temple would have been much better.
I gotta say, from what I saw in that video, I think their pun game is a little weak.
Yeah.
Like the Temtem names,
Yeah.
maybe could use a little work. But
the Temtem designs themselves, though, they're pretty cute.
the art is not bad. Yeah.
I like the art a lot, but I think that Pokemon definitely has the edge in the design of the actual creatures themselves
right,
are a little more exorbitant.
Here's my question.
Okay.
If Popplio was a Temtem, would he be would he be divisive, or would he be like far and away the most beloved Temtem?
I think he'd be one of the most beloved.
Okay.
It'd be the poster Temtem.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Like
I
they
mean, see,
slap that
I
on
think
the
that's
box.
deserved because Popplio is among
Poplio's
the
been
greatest.
wronged.
Yeah,
too.
is there a Pikachu of Temtem?
No, they like flash like a bunch of the early ones that you'll see.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's
You got to wait for the Temtem anime to define that, right? I mean, 'cause that's,
It's actually gonna be a live action show on Netflix.
I just Googled most popular Temtem.
what were the results?
I didn't find a good answer to that, but a headline on Vice from an hour ago did pop up that says Temtem is the Pokemon game Nintendo refuses to make. Temtem.
why won't they
They've got the balls to do it.
Temtem dares.
this game has all the Temtem in it, for starters.
Every day
motherfuckers.
I go to Game
Every
Freak's
Temtem is in
offices.
this game. You can catch them all.
And I say, make Temtem, and they say, no, we can't. It's not ours.
Pocket monsters are supposed to be so fun and light and airy, not
This
such.
is the Star Wars movie that
Why does-
Lucasfilm won't make.
How has this become so contentious?
Yeah, there were a couple.
Luke fucks in this one. Blue milk for everybody, he says. What? What?
My favorite thing about Temtem so far is popping on the Discord, whether or not to check the server status, but just to see people exploding at each other.
Oh my god.
And like what we were just joking about, people are having legitimate conversations like, fuck your Temtem! Fuck them! And then like, just like the
Meta is
competitive...
broken.
Exactly. No, there
There is
people...
a competitive Temtem tab, like, there's
Yeah.
Discord channels, and I hopped into that day one, and it was just people at each other's throats about the viability of these Temtem that have existed for 24 hours.
You assholes. Give me some Temtem names. Let's
Let's
hear
see.
'em.
I just pulled up a list.
we got Genki. Genki's like...
Genki.
But that's Genki with an A.
Oh.
Genki.
Yeah.
Genki?
Okay. Genki. All right.
Jeff, what do you think Genki looks like based off the name?
Easy E.
I wish.
Man.
It's like a horned electric bug.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
toucan
Electric
one's
definitely, because
name?
Genki would be.
Which one?
Yeah.
The bird you get at the beginning.
Two-way.
Two-way the toucan.
That's not bad. Let's see. Ori, Platypet,
Platypet's good.
Platypet seems like
Yeah,
a good
that's
Platypet
all right.
is your far-fetched equivalent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Swally.
Is a swally a swallow, or what is swally?
It does appear to be a bird of some kind.
There's a lot of birds.
I think.
It's a lot of birds.
Yeah.
Like a tropical island theme.
Yeah.
Let's see. Ampling, bun,
Bun.
fomu, scunch.
I hate getting from
Scunch.
Oh,
Yes.
man.
Oh yeah,
Scunch.
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 One of the
You gotta pay
interesting
good money to get scunched around these parts.
one of the interesting glitches people are running into is that their scunch would de-evolve into Scrail, I think it's called.
Yep.
And then it would break the game.
Hate when that happens.
Yeah.
Hate when my scunch de-evolves.
I was not ready for people to immediately just start using the word scunch earnestly in sentences.
My face when my scunch devolves.
Oh boy. That seems very popular.
Yeah,
Just based on like number of Steam reviews and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It seems extremely popular.
I want to play Temtem.
Let me see. I wonder
boy.
if it's still the top selling game.
I don't know why.
Another distinction from mainline Pokemon games that I like is your rival is a threat in this game, and you can just straight up lose to them.
Yeah.
Was that the guy
and
you
they walk
fought
away?
Right before you got on the airship?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't go well.
Yeah, they
we went in-
demolished me.
Yeah, you were under healed and stuff,
Right.
but still, like,
Temtem's a heel run territory.
rival rolls up, beats you, and leaves, and you're just like, oh,
Yeah, normally in like a mainline Pokemon game, if you were to lose to your rival, you'd faint, go to a Pokemon Center, and you'd redo the scenario. Here, they were like, "Sorry, dog, you
guess
fucked
suck
up."
shit later.
But then they let you move on.
Yeah.
Which was kind of nice of them.
Do you think that's a fight you're supposed to lose? Have you heard
Yeah,
from
it
people
seemed like
winning that
he
fight?
got close.
I
It seemed
could've-
like you could have pulled it out.
Yeah, I think if you were healed, you probably would have won.
Or if
Yeah,
I
definitely.
like led properly.
I think
rather than-
he was down to his last like one or two
I think so. Yeah,
Temtem, right?
I think so.
It is still the number one selling game on Steam
Yeah,
after a week. So
those queue times were rough for a while.
Oh yeah.
They seem to have gotten a little better.
Just don't open any boxes. Don't interact with anyone in this MMO. I will
Don't look
say
at your scunch in the eyes.
the developers seem like they've been working around the fucking clock.
Yeah, it's from what I can gather, pretty small team based out of Spain. This was a
Yeah.
Kickstarter game, which I didn't realize from a few years ago. But they raised a lot of money.
I wonder how much of that money they spent on lawyers. Just going like, is this okay? Like, we're pretty sure this is okay, but like, look, we just want you to look at this and make sure.
There's even a song in the game that starts like
Dun,
da da da, and then like completely changes, like just the Pokemon song. I'm like, these motherfuckers are just like standing at the line and being like, "What? Come on!"
Yeah, it's weird.
yeah, it's kind of cool though.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, it's
well,
neat.
in a world where like people have always had big dreams about what they thought Pokemon could be on a grand scale,
Yeah.
you know, you kind of knew even with the Switch game, but even before the Switch game came out, when it was all still just a dream. I feel like you always knew like it's going to take someone else to come along and like say like, no, we're going to make the modern equivalent of that, and it's not going to be Pikachu, but it'll be.
If this is the AEW to the WWE, I'm all for it. You know?
Do you think these developers were just sort of like steepling their fingers a month or two ago, watching the reaction, going like, "Oh man, it's the perfect time."
I bet they're big enough Pokemon fans to be also super bummed about it.
Super bummed, but definitely like there is suddenly a lot of upset Pokemon
like-
fans in the
yeah.
ecosystem.
But like, is that what you don't want your player base to be? Those people like fucking angry all the time, fucking making weird demands. Like that's it's you're playing with fire with that.
I guess, but I mean that's any. I feel like that's.
Sure, I guess that's any video
game.
game any ever now, right? Yeah, good point.
Yeah,
Just use a water type to cool down the fire.
that's right.
Oh,
You got an answer for everything.
Yeah.
Did you want to
Yes.
talk about?
Yes.
the
I need to.
We got an email. I paraphrase. Somebody basically just sent in an email saying, "Can you Kingdom Hearts remind me why I play this shit?"
All right. I can't tell that person why they do it because I can't tell myself why I do it. Personally. Okay, so Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, the DLC came out last week, which is supposed to, Square has said and Nomura said it's supposed to fill in the gaps of the story in 3, and it does some of that.
And create a lot more in the process.
And then digs more holes in the process.
So is the whole thing set in the middle of? Is it like this is the missing like the Assassin's Creed did that one time, where it's like here's
Kind
chapter
of.
6 that wasn't in there before?
It's like
I'll take this one. It takes place before, during, and after all the events in multiple timelines. It is inexplicable. Go ahead, Jan.
Actually, Ben, see, the more time you're spending with me, the more of an expert you're becoming in Kingdom Hearts. So yeah, it's exactly what Ben said, where it takes place before the final cutscene, but after like the last quarter of the game. But you're also replaying that quarter of the game. So even though they've added a bunch of new cutscenes you wind up they wind up recycling existing cutscenes and existing boss encounters.
Hang on a sec.
Yes.
You end up replaying
Yes.
a chunk of actual Kingdom Hearts 3 here?
Yes.
Is it from a different perspective or some kind of different...
Sometimes you watch the exact same cutscene, like when Donald Duck fires off the Zeta flare.
It's just like, well, this cutscene was already on the disc, so it's free.
no
to use
differences?
again.
So there'll be like slight differences before that original cutscene, but they'll still play it out. And then some of the encounters will be the same, but you will have the option to play as a different character that was in that instance. So if Riku was with you, you could play as Riku, or you could play as Aqua or Roxas.
Okay.
But that part is a bummer where they like recycle all the old stuff. The part where it's like neat is that there's actually a bunch of good little set pieces. One of them, I was yelling in my room the other day, and my partner was looking at me very concerned. She had no idea how to console me. But it is straight up where Mickey Mouse is pretty much Solid Snake at the end of Metal Gear Solid 4, the hallway scene, and like Mickey Mouse is dying as these Organization 13 ghosts are attacking him. And then at the end, when he finally reaches the keyhole, they have like a father-son Kamehameha moment with Sora, who's like not a ghost.
Is Mickey Sora's dad?
Spiritually.
Okay.
Yeah, father figure. I don't know. But then as that was happening, I was losing my shit and just complaining, how dare this fucking game do this again to me? Where yet again, I'm fucking enraptured by it. And I hate it. I hate it so much.
Have you finished it?
Yes.
How much of it? So I sat in with you for, I don't know, the first hour-ish of the game. And it was almost exclusively boss fights in weird arenas that seemed semi-recycled.
It is pretty much that. Okay. The part where you are walking through an environment is just exactly the last quarter of the game. It is kind of just a boss rush type of deal. And it's about 2.5 to 3 hours long just for the...
It's $30!
Just for the remind portion of it. And then from there, once you beat that, you open up the limit cut, which is straight up boss rush encounters where it's a boss room. But you need to beat that, guys. You need to beat that to unlock the secret ending and the secret boss where you...
Do you get to fuck Mickey Mouse?
No, you don't get to fuck Mickey Mouse.
Do you fight Walt Disney?
No.
Do you fight Walt Disney's head in a giant mech?
That would...
Remember how Wolfenstein ended? Is it like that, but with Walt Disney?
And I apologize for the folks listening at home that have yet to beat the 13 bosses.
Okay, wait. Spoiler alert. You got 1 minute. Go.
You fight Yozora.
What?
And Yozora was like the protagonist from the Fate game that was in the Toy Story world that opened up with a big trailer.
Shit.
And then after you beat that, after you successfully beat Yozora, it launches into a cutscene that is a 1-for-1 remake of Final Fantasy Versus 13, the trailer opening from that.
What?
It is a shot for shot.
What? Wow, he had some...
Fucking course it is.
He had some unfinished business he needed
Yeah,
to
he had
get.
some unfinished like data laying around that they could just reuse, right?
There's so much salt. It's like...
Okay, your minute is up.
Okay, special
It's for the people. It's for the people who don't want to be spoiled, so they can skip it.
I need to hear where this is going.
I don't know, but then just Nomura just has so much salt in him. It's like, oh, you didn't want me to make this game? I made it anyway. And then it launched me into a fucking thing where it's like that Always Sunny in Philadelphia episode with Charlie, and then I was literally with a piece of paper mapping stuff out, thinking like, wait, Final Fantasy Versus 13, to get to the secret ending, you had to beat 13 bosses. And then that's
versus 13 bosses.
Exactly. And then in the Limit Cut episode, that's where you actually re-meet or re-see the Final Fantasy characters. And then I'm reminded that they're all in there. Guys, it's there. It's right there.
It's right there in front of us.
Also, Patrick Klepek reminded me that there's a block in this game because I was dying repeatedly thinking like, fuck, there has to be something I'm missing because I haven't played it since last year. And yeah, there's a block in the game, and I'm just reminded how the block is a little awkward. It's great. I love it. I hate it.
$30.
Yeah, that's
$40 if you want the special orchestra.
the
videos.
orchestra stuff. Yeah,
I
those are pretty concert.
hate. I hated it in Oscar's Wrath, which I consider to be one of the best games, but I hate putting fucking true ending.
Well, hang on now. Does that
DLC.
feel like it was a true ending to the Kingdom Hearts 3 story, or did it feel like a bunch of insanity tacked onto the end that like, this is the real ending, but it's just like a bunch of garbage?
It can be both.
It's both.
Okay.
It does offer. It offers.
Is it closure? Do you
No.
come out of it and go like, okay, is it closure for Kingdom Hearts 3 at least?
Sure.
Okay.
It closes that chapter and what happened at the initial secret ending that played. But then
So that sounds bad then. If you're paying additional money for closure, that's usually a bad
I think that's incredibly scummy to charge that much money to the fan. Like, it's just ringing poor Kingdom Hearts fans who.
Well, how was the ending to baseline Kingdom Hearts 3? Did it feel like, man, this sucks? They sure did leave out a thing.
I don't know if it's because
Or were you satisfied there and this is just like, oh, well, this is technically more.
Regardless, I think it's fucking shameful to make people spend $30 for canonical content in their game, because like, even if it's not closure, even if it's not putting a cap on 3 for the next Kingdom Hearts thing, you don't know what's going to be relevant, what's not, unless you've played through
considering
this.
they've pulled in the mobile games and all this other shit, it's all relevant or it's all potentially relevant.
Sure,
But,
yes, which makes it shitty.
Well, but also what you're saying is you don't want DLC to ever be relevant to a story.
No, because you can also you can have continuation stuff. You can have and the fact, like, what I was going to get to is that it's a shitty way to play it too, because it's just a series of boss fights, recycled boss fights.
I mean, it sounds like bad content
environments.
regardless.
Yeah,
But I guess that's the thing, is like, if it's closing the Kingdom Hearts 3 story and you have to pay to get it, that's bad. Unless people went into Kingdom Hearts 3 or came out of Kingdom Hearts 3 feeling like, hey, this story's over.
nobody did that.
Okay, or at least the Kingdom Hearts 3, if they felt like, hey, this was like decent closure for this particular story, it left it in a place that is sensible for a video game to leave off. If they leave it deliberately open-ended and they're just like, fucking who knows what happens, and then they sell you that ending, then it's almost like, then they really knew ahead of time that they were going to fuck you on this. Whereas if they wrote a thing and then like decided like, what if we just wrote a true ending? They're like, well, I like the ending we have. Like, nah, fuck it. What if I write a true ending? Like, that's a little less bad, right?
Agreed. I was trying to think of how the initial game offered some type of closure, and I don't know if it's due to like the world we live in now, where everyone is waiting for an after credit sting.
Yeah.
That everyone is just waiting for some twist at the end, where maybe it's not an excuse that they can charge $30 to $40 for this, but I feel like Kingdom Hearts fans just unfortunately accept it and expect it.
Yeah, like has Marvel destroyed the idea of the self-contained story in popular media
I
at this
think,
point?
Everything, you know, like nothing can be self-contained anymore.
Yeah.
People always want more. People always want another thing, and they always want to be like led through it. Like there's no, it's like people don't even really want mystery all that much. But I guess Kingdom Hearts has plenty of that.
Yeah,
like stuff that's like deliberately not explained.
Yeah, so that the secret boss fight at the end gives context and to what happens at the initial secret ending that released like a month after the initial game had come out. So there's that. They should take a cue from Nier, and in that game, the DLC lets you fight the president of Square Enix.
Yeah,
if you fought Walt Disney, Mecha Disney,
but yeah, I mean, it didn't add much more in terms of actual gameplay other than getting to play as separate characters, which was cool. But I mean, they weren't really leveled up to your same level, so sometimes it would be a chore to play as them versus the store that you've built up throughout the course of the game.
And do we know if this is it for this game and subsequent DLC
I want to say
releases?
this is it for this
okay,
game.
so
They
announced another game.
Yeah.
No, the
What?
mobile.
Right.
Oh, the mobile thing, does that count as an actual game?
Yes.
Okay, that's
You have to count every Kingdom Hearts game as a game because they find a way.
I made that mistake. But yeah, for the new bits of story where it adds a little bit of context and like some flavor text, it's neat. But $30 is kind of a lot, especially when you can get the base game for $20 lately.
Sounds wow. Well, I guess it's been a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Came out.
So, I mean, if
early
you
last year.
waited and you want to get the whole package, I guess it'd be close to the price of a full game.
What if I didn't
Then that's
want
fine.
to get any of it?
That's fine.
Great.
That costs you $0.
I'm going to stick with that.
Yeah.
Safely
It's
move
working out
on with your life.
I still have the PowerPoints ready, guys.
Someday.
You have to update them all.
I'm not sure.
I do have to fucking update them.
I'm not sure what will occasion the unleashing of those PowerPoints, but someday we will have a need.
Maybe I'll trap someone in this room and talk with me about Kingdom Hearts or something.
Oh God, it's gonna be me. Oh no. Oh shit.
All right. Is that it for video games? Anybody else got
That's
anything
it for video
pressing? I think that's it.
Wait. I just want to give a really quick shout out to a phone game I've been enjoying lately because they're few and far between. Archero, Archero. It's pretty simple. I mean, it's like a rogue-esque, roguelike, whatever. It's roguelite.
Like
Rogue-esque, roguelike light. It's top down. You move a character around with a fake joystick. That's the only control you need. When you stop moving, you start shooting. You're getting new power-ups as you play, and then it has, of course, since it's a mobile game, it has like a whole chest system, which will give you new characters and stuff. I just found it to be. I'm always on the lookout for a good phone game that I can play one-handed while I'm like riding the train. You know,
I hear you.
Holding the pole in one hand,
Yeah.
using my phone in the other.
Got to steady yourself.
I've been playing it a lot. It's great.
Is
Check it
that
out.
free to play?
Yeah. Archero.
Archero.
All right. Check that out.
Cool.
Cool. All right. Now that's definitely it for video games.
Yeah.
End of this segment. Let's take our first break. We will be right back. See you then. All right, time for the news. And speaking of news, there was a little bit of wrestling chatter in the break. Is there any business we need to attend
You
to?
didn't have to do this.
Or should we just...
Yeah, they fucked half that
You got
Royal Rumble. Holy
60,
Yeah, they did.
60 seconds.
Yeah.
It's they got to a good place by the end, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Who won the Rumble?
Drew
Drew
McIntyre.
McIntyre.
Who?
Oh, that was part of the Business Dave Top 10, was it not? On Friday?
Yes, but
Royal Rumble speculation?
He thought that Daniel Bryan would win. Daniel Bryan did not compete in the Royal Rumble.
He wasn't even in the Rumble.
Yeah, no, he had
Man, that's not a...
Don't tell me that was the lock of the week.
That was not.
Missed
It was
that
not
one
the
by
lock.
a mile.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's I think that's a good person to have win and like elevate it up to like a really good main event spot and all this other stuff.
What's his deal?
He's a Scottish dude.
Cool.
Looks
Okay.
good.
Does he wear
tough.
does he wear a kilt?
No.
No.
He might for the
maybe,
big show though.
Yeah.
He wears a kilt for the big show.
Because
show, get
that
together
seems like the level of cultural nuance that WWE trades in.
So now like the whole kilt thing though, then you're just evoking Roddy Piper.
Oh, right,
So
of
you
course.
kind of like that means something different
Completely
in that,
forgot
in
about
that
it.
visual
Yes.
language. So
it's been done,
it's been done. Yeah.
and perhaps better.
Sure.
So who's going to top Roddy Piper?
Yeah.
Not Rousey.
No. No. But yeah, they really to get him there, they ended up fucking over or like the first half of that match by just having it be utterly meaningless. Other than when all that stuff kind of paid off by the end, you're like, okay, well they put as much emphasis behind him as they could, and from a logic, from like the way they view how they book their storylines, at least how I perceive it, I feel like I see how they would come to the conclusions they came to when making that match happen. But I just look at it as someone who, like, the Royal Rumble is one of my favorite things they do, period. Having half of that match go to shit for a storyline that could have been written in a more efficient way. Like, I just look at it like, it was a bummer to watch.
However,
It made it less fun to watch.
one of the best returns ever in that I can remember in a
That's
long
big,
time.
Yeah, big pop.
Yeah. Terrible camera work during it, where they missed like a giant.
They
signature
just
move.
put out like all the other camera angles from that or something after
could
even
have been
people
the
that were in the ring were complaining about it.
Yeah. But yeah, if to return from that type of retirement where like the injuries that he had sustained and stuff, amazing.
Yeah.
Wait, who's this?
Edge.
Oh.
Adam Copeland.
Yeah.
Star of Vikings.
Yes, Viking star.
Right.
Yeah.
Everyone's favorite. All right. It's time for everyone's other favorite, which is video game news.
Yeah.
Pretty much on par.
Yeah. Last week, Somebody just straight up posted pictures of an Xbox Series X to the internet.
With like the serial number.
Front and back with the serial number clearly visible. Questionable decision, perhaps.
When you got to get that credit, when you got to prove that your dad works for Microsoft.
So, all this for a single drop of clout.
That's
correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't this exact thing happen with the 360?
I think so.
Like, and it turned out to be somebody's like 16-year-old kid. Like their dad had brought it home from work, and he like
was it 360 or was it Xbox One?
I swear it was the 360.
Yeah, you're probably right. I feel like this happens in some form every time.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that's hard to.
So it's coming from Microsoft then.
Well, it could be.
I mean, if it's happening every time.
Sure, yeah. I mean, maybe. Yeah, fuck, maybe.
This could be. Oh, wait, did I just find it? Did I actually just find a gamesindustry.biz story from July 20th, 2005?
It is certainly possible that this was like a loosely staged thing. Because think about it. Like, there was the thing with the ports back at CES.
Right.
And they're like, well, we'd like to get the information about the ports out there, but that's not interesting news on it. If we put that out in a big press release,
it'd be like Sony showing off the PS5 logo.
Yeah. So maybe this is like a smooth way for them to just say, like, here's what's on the back of this thing. Just
guys,
fucking get it
one
over
HDMI
with.
port.
Maybe.
Yeah, without having to come out and say there's only one HDMI port because we fucked up last time. It's not.
Right.
You could see a scenario where this was like a calculated thing, but who knows? Although we'll never know.
In that case, they themselves could have blurred the serial number just to make it seem more like a legitimate leak.
I saw someone responding to that on Twitter saying, like, I went to my like register hardware page on Xbox.com and the serial number totally rang up.
They registered this prototype?
Yeah.
Weird.
And now can you please remove it from my profile? But so, who knows?
Yeah. The big fat sticker on the back says Xbox product name placeholder. Prototype not for sale.
Yeah.
Cool. So it doesn't even say Series X on it. Also, at the end of all that, it's super predictable. It's 2 USB-A ports, which is the standard USB rectangular that everybody knows and loves. Ethernet, power, 1 HDMI in, and an optical audio.
What's the weird rectangular
Yeah.
thing?
It's some kind of proprietary debug port.
Okay.
You're always getting diagnostic stuff out of
Yeah.
development hardware.
So presumably
So
the
we're not
final
gonna get
hardware will look somewhat different than that then.
Yeah, maybe.
Just by virtue of not having that port.
Yeah, that port does take up a big spot in this kind of rectangular area. So
Perfect place for another HDMI port. Let's go!
True.
HDMI in, HDMI out, HDMI sideways.
Yeah, fuck it.
Double HDMI.
Low latency HDMI.
I've lost track. Like, Microsoft has never come out and flat out said, "Here's what's on the back. There will not be an HDMI in." I think I called it an HDMI in when I was rattling those off. It's an HDMI out, of course.
I don't believe
Like,
so.
they've never come out and flat out said it will not have it.
I don't believe so,
Okay.
but who knows?
Okay.
Yeah.
What you would expect.
Honestly,
Yeah, it's a video game console.
I kind of would expect a little bit more USB-C.
Yeah, kind of. Well, if anything, I would think the USB-C would be on the front because people would want it for front-facing devices. But even there, they've only got one A port on the front.
Yeah.
And the controllers are even C, right? Like, isn't the new Elite even C?
Yes. Yes, I think I'm pretty sure it is. It might still be micro. I'd have to look. I would have to look.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you.
I would have thought that we would have been all C all the time by now, or maybe like 1A and 2C or something like that. But it was like a legacy A for because why not?
Here's something I feel embarrassed to ask. What is the difference?
USB-C is the small oval-shaped port that the cable can go in either way.
It's reversible like a lightning cable.
And it's way faster.
It's faster.
I've never even seen that.
You have. It's
the
what
Switch
charges off of.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's if you have a
controller.
If you have a Pro controller,
USB-C.
C is what plugs into.
I thought that was a completely different. I didn't know that was USB.
Yeah.
That was some proprietary. Okay. Well, then what's a B?
B is A. A is the rectangular, the most common one.
Yeah.
B is the one that's like squarish with like a notched top.
Oh, that's yes.
Kinda.
Got yeah.
And then there's micro and mini, and then now C. Also, as slow as C has been to penetrate the market, they're like it's basically obsolete as a standard now because they're already beyond it in terms
Is there
of
a D?
ratifying new USB standards.
Oh, there's a D. No, I don't know what.
Also, there's USB 3.0 and 3.1 and like it's a fucking mess. I can't keep up with it all.
Wi-Fi 6.
Yeah, Wi-Fi 6. Yeah.
What is Wi-Fi 6?
It's-
is that
it's-
beyond 5G?
It's
It's AX.
oh yeah. Oh, you mean 802.11 AX? It's what would have, you know how the
My
Wi-Fi.
head hurts.
Yeah, you know how the Wi-Fi has always been like B, G, N, AC, and that shit. They finally were like, "What the fuck are we doing? We have to stop this. We have to give it an actual name." And the name they settled on is Wi-Fi 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, I don't know. I mean, like in terms of what's on the back of this box, like there's not much to talk about here. It's a video game console.
Yeah, there probably was never going to be a story in what's on the back of an Xbox.
Yeah. Well,
Series
and I
X,
guess
but-
anytime they had a feature on the previous machine that they are now removing, it's somebody's going to be like, "Oh,
Yeah, I'll take
no
any.
Kinect port. I can't believe it.
I'll
Like,
take any news on the new consoles.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
ready.
Sure.
I'm
Yeah.
excited.
yeah." As kind of dull as, I mean, we could talk about this looks like hotel room carpet that it's sitting on. I'm
Yeah,
gonna say.
totally.
This does not look like somebody's house carpet.
Oh, I don't know, man.
Let me see
that-
that.
that's
That's
Oh.
hotel room carpet.
It's
Yeah,
like that.
you're right. That is like there's a real low pile to that.
Nobody would put this in their house.
Yeah.
I don't think. Apologies to you if you have put this in your house. I'm not here to judge your interior design.
Yeah, but that could also, do we have a pulled out enough shot to know that this is full carpet and not like a doormat?
No, these are the original photos.
Okay, so like it's small enough that could be like a doormat.
That's true. I guess so.
Because that doesn't look like something. It looks like hotel
saying they're
room,
using it
hotel
as a-
waiting room,
as
or
a
like an
doorstop
office
already.
Like if you
Yeah,
have that in
okay,
your office because
sure.
you're a game
Yes.
dev.
It actually looks not unlike the carpet here in this room,
Yeah.
now that I think about it.
Wait, did we leak the Xbox Series X?
Shut up. Shut up.
Fuck. We fucked up.
They brought it by last week and they had all those bottles of
I know,
Buckfast. We should have really... Oops.
I can't believe you power this thing by pouring the Buckfast into the top of it.
Only a few drops at a time, though, or else.
Whoops.
Do you guys like this thing? I think I was not here when all this stuff got unveiled. I can't remember. Maybe I was, but
The look of it, or
maybe I can't remember. Yeah, just like the boxiness of it.
Oh, yeah. I
the big
love it.
monitor.
You guys are into it?
I
like
worry
the one.
about people like putting it upside down
Yeah, I guess I
Yeah.
can see it.
and then the disc falling out and getting jammed in there somehow.
Based on, you know what I'm going to say, based on this up close photo, it looks like that X logo button is not going to rotate.
God damn it.
Yeah.
I know, right?
I can't believe
And
this.
they have decided that vertical
fucked up.
is the default orientation
That's
for this
fucked
thing.
up.
Yeah.
If you're going to put it on your side like any sane person, your X is going to be wrong.
Yeah.
My X is always wrong.
And
Yeah.
Sony solved that problem 20 years ago almost.
But like they did okay, so the PS2 rotated.
Yeah.
Did the PS3?
No, but it didn't have a
It
logo
didn't
in the
have a
same
front
way.
logo, yeah.
Okay.
I admire that kind of attention to detail.
Agreed.
The PS2, yes. I mean,
That was silly.
the PS2 they sold a horizontal stand for it. That's like next level fucking ridiculous.
That's so great.
I bought that horizontal stand.
Oh, man.
They only sold it in Japan.
I don't know why none of you are brave enough to say that the Nintendo GameCube is the greatest designed console of all time. Perfect box with a handle.
I love the
tall.
GameCube.
Too tall.
Too tall.
Well, if that's too tall, then you're really going to hate this Xbox.
No, because it's long.
Okay.
It's like a big brick.
It's like two GameCubes
it's
on
like-
top
it's
of
two
each other.
GameCubes taped together. It's
I'm sure
got
they've
real power now.
They must have done
It's the Wii.
their market research on this thing, right? I'm sure it'll fit into most any shelf.
I think
It won't fit
they're
under my TV
Laying down?
vertically.
No, I mean laying down, like
But
on
yeah,
the
laying
side.
down.
I would
That's fine.
assume that the thing is like, okay, they're going to have a cheaper version of this that is going to fit. If you care more about it fitting under your TV than having the most powerful game console you can, then they have another console.
we have a
and
console
it's
for
called
you.
The fucking Lockhart, whatever. I
Xbox
suspect that they are
Series
going all out
Y.
on this for people who are just like, no, fuck it, I need this shit.
I need a
I will
PC
move
under
heaven
my-
and fucking earth to put it wherever.
To sell a special podium for it.
Microsoft, put it
Drill a
anywhere
little-
that you want. That's the crowd they're trying to appeal to.
Drill a hole in the top and then just slide it into your
Okay.
shelf.
Yeah.
So I don't know. In the sense that when you look at it, it looks like something that they said, "Fuck it, no compromises. We're making this big ass thing."
Yeah.
Like
sure.
I think that's a strong look.
It looks
but-
powerful.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to see what the PS5 looks like.
It's going to look like a PS4. But
It's,
a little
what
different.
if it's just like PS4 Pro, but with like one more
Another layer.
I'd be into that.
Yeah.
It just seems accordion out.
Yeah.
As somebody who has to hook up consoles over and over all the time, whoever decided on that slanted rear panel where you can't see any of the ports when you're leaning over
Sucks. Super sucks.
it's bad. They have to get rid of that. I'm sure they will.
And also, as people who occasionally lug a console around an office, like this thing looks like a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
We need a sling for it. We need like a special carrying case.
Rolly cart.
Yeah, we'll get the Mac Pro wheels.
Okay.
And just bolt it to that.
Maybe
They
they'll
they
invent.
totally make like carrying straps for like PCs for like LAN parties.
Yeah.
And shit.
Yeah. I was gonna say
You
if
might
like
have to invest.
the tech advances, we can get one of those little carts that Baby Yoda floats in and just nestle it in there and push it along.
Let's see. Valve did an AMA on Reddit about Half-Life Alyx.
That's cool.
Not a lot of super interesting stuff out of there. Like the biggest sort of data point or like actual piece of news is that they flat out said it will be as big as Half-Life 2,
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
which is bigger than I expected.
Yeah.
The same amount of content
Yeah,
as
I don't-
Half-Life 2.
I guess that's kind of how they're describing it. They're saying
that playtesters took as long to play.
Yes. Playtesters have taken a similar amount of time to complete Half-Life Alyx as they did to complete Half-Life 2. So they're really talking. Well, they say the games are comparable in terms of total amount of content, whatever metric that is.
And that goes with the other
Head
interesting
crabs
point on
count.
there that I noted, which was the size of the team involved. They said it's like the largest amount of people they've ever had working.
like
I think it
people.
said 60,
80,
80, I
80?
think. Yeah.
80 people working on it. Which when you hear like at its lowest, there was 3 to 5 people working on Dota.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Although
I didn't know they had that many people.
that's also a sign of how long it's been since Valve made a full-size game.
Yeah,
I think.
that too, for sure. And then like Eric Walpaw talking about not wanting to work with silent protagonists anymore. I
Yeah.
thought was cool.
That was like something I was worried about when they announced this. Was like, Alex is like a character. How are you going to do it if she doesn't talk? But apparently she does.
I think his quote in there, he was talking about like since Left 4 Dead, they never wanted to go back to a silent protagonist because they had Half-Life and then they had Portal. And
Right.
they're like, it was a joke in Portal that it was a silent protagonist, but you can't. He's like, I can't keep doing that.
I didn't realize Eric Wolpaw was writing this game until they did
Yeah.
this. I don't know if that was known or not.
No, because he
is-
came back early last year.
Something like that.
And everyone was like, well, what's he going to do?
That's fantastic. I mean, he is an amazing writer.
Yeah, totally.
Sounds like he's been consulting with Mike Laidlaw, one of the two notable Laidlaws in the game industry, who wrote all the previous Half-Life games, who's not there anymore. So anyway, and they say they're like done. They're just polishing and bug fixing, and they say they will definitely hit their date.
It was really promising.
Yeah, I maybe it's just because every VR game that's ever come out just feels like a trifle, you know, like they never feel like big. Well, except for like Skyrim and Fallout, but those were based on existing games. But most
And people have done. I mean, there are big story-driven games in VR.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just,
fair, like some of the Oculus
none of them
stuff.
say Half-Life on
Yeah.
them.
And none of them
That's
have
fair.
like that 80 Valve employees. Well,
There are some big teams out there.
There are some big
There's some
teams.
big teams that have done VR, but not quite like this. This is a franchise with so much history compared to a lot of the other stuff that's come along.
yeah,
with
so
VR.
I'm getting more and more excited about playing this as it gets closer.
I think it will be very interesting to see, because you talk about this game as like a big game, and I assume that's a similar hour count or something like that. How long was Half-Life 2? Was it like 12?
12.
Some 12, 15. I feel like I haven't played through it since it came out, but I feel like I remember it being pretty long.
Okay. Well, anyway, VR session time, and it's very easy to sit down in front of Half-Life 2 or any kind of sit down in front of a monitor and play a story-driven game that you get sucked into, and just burn through it in a sitting, 2 sittings, whatever. It's like, oh, whoops, I spent the whole weekend in my underwear and played through this entire game. Like VR brings a separate set of concerns along those lines that then you have to wonder, like, okay, like how long are people gonna play in a session? Did that impact how they paced the story at all? If they were like, oh, well, we understand that people are gonna maybe take a break a little more frequently than they would with a traditional Half-Life game.
They did mention
And
you
so
can
they
play
need to
sitting
think about
down,
that.
which is nice to hear. Like that's not novel at this point or anything.
No, but like it seems like they're just supporting as many different configurations, whether it's controllers or headsets or seated, standing, whatever.
I will say I agree with you that it could complicate the story-driven nature of it, just because VR is a some people just can't hang in VR for long periods of time.
Hopefully they've built more downtime, like little spots where you feel like you could get out.
Yeah, but I will say, like, I'm not the most experienced in VR, but I when I was getting really into Tetris Effect, I would get like completely lost in it, like I hadn't in another video. I mean, Tetris is very different than playing a first-person shooter.
Yeah,
but I think it can work to their advantage if they if they have that in mind and try and keep.
And Valve has been doing VR research for a very long time.
Yeah.
So I assume that they have a whole lot of data points and a whole lot of things that they can look at and say like, okay, well, X% of people are going to have to punch out at the 1 hour mark, or 2 however long the session time ends up being, and then start to think about what that looks like. And that could be something as simple as, and I don't know, without knowing more about the story and how it's told and all this other stuff, like who knows, right? But you almost wonder, would it do a last time on Half-Life Alyx style thing when you put it back on? Be like, hey, you had to punch out of this in the middle of a thing, just want to catch you back up. Here's where you are. Here's what you're doing. Like, HUD elements in a VR game are sometimes very weird as well. So the idea of a thing up in the corner that says, go collect these batteries, whatever, like that's not going to be as easy to do. So, I don't know. These are all like super minor concerns in the grand scheme of things. I'm excited to see how they kind of solve some of that stuff.
Yeah. They could really pave the way for a lot of other VR games.
Yeah, this is going to set the bar, I think, for
we'll see.
Subsequent.
Yeah. One other thing they mentioned is that head crabs are kind of a lot to deal with in VR, which
I'm sure.
I always found head crabs to just be kind of goofy and like comical almost in the previous games. But also, friend of the site, Will Smith, went up to Valve and played this game, and he has come back saying he said some of the same stuff, that like head crabs flying at your face in VR is kind of a lot to deal with. So
no, thank you.
This should be cool, I hope. Any Silent Hill fans in here?
Yeah. The first one, never followed the subsequent releases.
How would you feel about a new Silent Hill?
Okay, all right. There's definitely space for more horror games.
2 new Silent Hills.
2?
I feel like we're talking about a lot of rumors and leaks lately, but I guess that's just the way things are going.
Yeah.
Start of the year, everyone's thinking.
Everyone's excited.
Looking forward to 2020.
Nothing's been announced.
New consoles.
Yeah. Let's see. So it's a lot of stuff. Like Eurogamer has basically sort of collected numerous signs together that new Silent Hill is happening. Like the biggest one is there was a leak on Twitter from Aesthetic Gamer, who I've never heard of, but apparently they're one of the bigger Capcom leakers of recent times, who flat out said that, here's the actual quote, Konami about 2 years ago reached out to various developers to pitch ideas for 2 Silent Hill games, one a soft reboot of the franchise, the other an episodic Telltale / Until Dawn style game to go alongside the reboot. So there's that. They point out the stuff about Kojima himself, kind of teasing recently that he's thinking about a horror game.
And some reports in there that relations between
that was
Kojima
the part that I was
and
like,
Konami have started to cool down a little.
The Eurogamer writer themselves are saying like, hey, we've heard things between Kojima and Konami are not as chilly as they used to be.
That makes sense. You get some distance, a little bit of time.
And money talks also.
Yeah.
If it's there.
I mean, Konami, what is Konami right now, right? I mean, if they could get out there and say, hey, we're making a new Silent Hill game, that's one thing. But even that's like, what is Silent Hill anymore? Especially with the number of different Silent Hill games that came along.
Yeah.
So,
also, even Konami can't be blind to the response to PT.
Right.
To this day, people lose their shit over that thing.
I'll tell you what, as somebody who's like, I've never played Silent Hill games. I've always found the aesthetics kind of interesting. And it seems like a cool world. The idea of that more episodic, similar to the Dark Universe game. Dark Universe is that what the Man of Modin, Dark Pictures.
Yeah,
that kind of that style of game, or something a little more. It's focused on the story. It's not this like big. You have to run around and play a kind of a shittier Resident Evil.
It's not like survival horror plus fog.
But like those elements in a more story focused, that could be something I could get excited about. I think that like we're missing we're missing. There aren't a lot of like high budget scary games right now. There's been kind of a lull, and then you had Resident Evil 7.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, it's really been like there was that big boom, around
Five
like
Nights at
Amnesia, Five Nights at Freddy's. Like seriously though, like that period, there was like a really big swell of scary games, and then that kind of died down.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like Silent Hill could be one of the really big ones to bring it back. Of just like, hey, we're back. We got this new style of game.
Yeah, if done right, for sure. I think like making something that adheres to like classic Silent Hill seems like it would be a really weird move.
Yeah.
Because it seems like there would be better ways to convey a horror game in this day and age than to make something that feels like this vaguely survival horror-y, Resident Evil-y kind of thing.
So the art director of Silent Hill 2, Masahiro Ito, tweeted a couple weeks ago, "I'm working on a title as a core member. I hope the title won't be canceled." And then he responded to himself saying, "About that, I can tell you nothing yet." So people saw that as well.
And there's also the fact that they've been upping their patent, right?
Yeah, I guess they've been like refiling trademarks or something like that. Konami put out a statement yesterday. "We cannot share anything at this point, but we are listening to customer feedback and considering ways to provide the next title." So
that seems
not exactly
very non-committal. Yeah.
Not exactly like shutting down all this speculation. I don't know. I was never super into Silent Hill back in the day.
Same here.
I was much more into Resident Evil. I just never thought much about it. But
that was
the last few years,
Shattered Memories was that.
Yeah, but that was
like
such a
separate
different
thing.
That
But
was
like
a
people
super different
love
thing.
that game.
Oh, that was the Wii release,
yeah.
right? With the flashlight and everything.
Yeah, that
Okay,
game. I didn't realize. Let me make sure I'm not talking out my
Sam
ass
Barlow,
here.
wasn't
But yes, I was gonna say that I didn't realize at the time. I just thought it was a great game. But yeah, that's Sam Barlow, the guy who's been doing a bunch of FMV narrative stuff more recently. But anyway, I was just gonna say Silent Hill seems to be a way bigger deal than I realized back at that time.
Yeah,
like it's way. It
people
seems
really
to be.
love
They made that
Silent
movie.
Hill.
Yeah.
You know,
people seem
people
to
love Pyramid Head.
Yeah, people seem to like that franchise
So sexy.
way more than I realized. Anyway, maybe they'll get announced this year. Who knows?
Yeah, I feel like Konami has to do something, right? I mean, it's not going to be Metal Gear Survive 2.
Yeah.
Castle.
Sure.
Oh,
yeah, they had eventually. Yeah,
Castlevania.
they're going to put out another Bomberman. Sure, why not? But yeah, what do you?
Can't rely on health clubs forever.
Pro 11 Soccer, do they still own that?
They lost.
They
I don't
lost
think
that.
they lost the. I think they lost the license
Hmm.
earlier. They let it lapse, or I think they. I seem to remember them saying, "Hey, this is it for soccer." I could be crazy.
I think
wrong,
that's right.
but I feel like
Okay.
I feel like I went to an event, and they were like, "Check out this soccer game. By the way, it's the last one we're gonna make." I'm like,
Oh, they were making an Olympics game that I checked out at E3 2 years ago.
right, yeah.
I don't know if that came out, or maybe they're timing it for the actual Olympics.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, sure. I guess that would make sense.
Jan, Pokemon Home.
Pokemon Home.
Pokemon Home.
Pokemon Home.
So this has been announced for a while. Is that correct? Like
Yes.
some more news about it came out this morning.
Yeah. I think they announced this like for last E3.
Okay.
I want to say it was in that giant direct where they introduced Pokemon Sleep and all like the other random like life things.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
But yeah, Pokemon Home is supposed to be a way where you can transfer your Pokemon from Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee into Sword and Shield, from Pokemon Go, and from the Pokemon Bank, which is the storage system from the 3DS games.
Huh.
So
Okay.
it's supposed to be a hub where you can. I don't believe you can move them back and forth. Obviously, you can't bring like a newer one into an older game.
Well, there were some on the infographic. There were some one-way arrows and some two-way arrows.
Okay,
So I don't
it's like
know.
that, huh?
two-way. We're talking about Temtem again.
Oh yeah.
I think you.
Oh, here is that infographic. Yeah. Wow. It looks like the most confusing traffic sign in the world.
Okay, well, this makes sense to me now. Now I'm seeing it. So yeah, I think because you can't move the it's oh god damn it.
It looks like the only two-way transfers are in and out of Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Yes, you can only deposit Pokemon from the other methods from Go, Bank, and Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, but within Sword and Shield, I think it appears that they can go back and forth. And there's
But
going
probably
to be
not all the Pokemon from Bank could make it into Sword and Shield, right? Because
Yes.
it doesn't have them all
or doesn't support them.
support them yet.
They're talking about there's going to be 2 tiers of Pokemon Home. The basic, I think, looks fine enough. That
one's free.
That one's free.
Okay.
The premium,
You have to pay?
yes, you have to pay.
Pokemon rent?
You have to pay Pokemon rent.
I fucking live in the Bay Area. I can't afford rent for myself. I'm not going to pay Pokemon rent.
The Pokemon Bank
My Farfetch
costs
could
money
live on the
too, doesn't
street.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can only get the Pokemon Bank transfers with the premium service.
Yes. The premium, it looks like 1 month will run you $2.99, 3 months $4.99, and a full year for $15.99. I think personally for my needs, the basic plan, which is the free one, works out fine because I just have a couple Pokemon from Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee that I like in Sword and Shield. But I could see long-term fans being off-put by having to pay $16 to bring in or safely store their Pokemon.
If you don't pay for the premium, how are you going to get by without the judge function?
The judge function.
Judge Funk.
What is the judge function?
The judge function is so you can see their IVs and EVs, Brad. Whoa. See, you're slowly getting there.
Wow.
That you can do in existing games, so I don't see it being like too big of a deal. And the storage stuff for me personally, again, like this is in my own case, I don't think I would need more than 30 random slots to store Pokemon in the home, but the premium goes up to 6,000. And I guess if you're a Sears hardcore breeder or you've had Pokemon that have existed in the bank for a long time, you just want to keep them safe. But yeah, a lot of people not particularly thrilled about having to pay.
You just think about how much data needs to be stored to store
Across
the
several
stats.
games.
But like, how big would the data for 6,000 Pokemon be in terms of server storage and server costs? It's not
that much.
$16 worth of fucking money. It's just it feels ridiculous that this is something that they are.
I mean, it feels like they were
Charging
like, how do
for-
we start getting
More money.
how do we start getting people to pay per month for Pokemon? Well, we could like do this. Like it seems like they started there and worked back.
How much was the Pokemon Bank?
Pokemon Bank, I think it was like
That was-
$5.
Yeah.
Oh, just like one-time fee, just buy the bank, or
I forget. I think it was like $5 maybe for a year, or I don't think it was as much as this is.
right?
And like that was kind of like almost a one-time fee that you could just take care of and not have to worry about.
This just feels like something that like should like, hey, you need to be a Nintendo Switch Online member,
Right. If this was something they threw in,
Yeah.
if you were an existing NSO subscriber or whatever,
like
you know?
like tacking this on, like I get it, like whatever, like let's fucking get paid,
Right.
But at the same time, this feels. Like for the amount of math that needs to get stored on a per Pokemon basis, the idea of like, hey, you need to pay us $17, like you're not going to be transferring these in and out. There's not some like cloud server charge that's going to cripple Nintendo or something. Like it's just, it's a bizarre.
With some of the screenshots they've shown, it looks like the assets are just super basic as is. It's just like a picture
like
of.
you wonder, like, did they put a ton of work into it? Is it like something that's like deceptively complicated to pull off? Like I don't know. They've been.
That could be true. But
It's sure, but like they've been building games off the idea of trading Pokemon from game to game since the very beginning.
Yes.
So if they planned that out poorly and now have to solve it by charging people money, that's still bad.
Right.
It still sucks.
There is a mobile app too. I think that's also included in the basic plan. So that part, at least, I guess, is neat, where you could kind of take care of stuff on the fly. I mean, I don't know how hardcore you'd have to be constantly checking your phone, making sure your
like
trades are going through.
I was gonna say, so is that what you're doing? Is it trading that you would have to? What would you even check in on? Are they like under a grow light when they're in the home and they're gaining levels slowly or something? Like
there's a Wonder Box feature, which is kind of like a random trade thing.
Okay.
And if you have the basic plan, you can only throw 3 in for like a surprise trade versus 10 with the premium. Even that, I don't think is like that big of a thing that you want to keep watch over.
Yeah.
I forget.
And then mobile apps have been pretty poor.
Yeah.
Like the Switch Online one is not great. So like
it was always rough trying to get Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee to talk to Pokemon Go. And Pokemon Go isn't going to be available for Pokemon Home at launch. But I mean, again, so
did you just say? I'm sorry, my brain didn't comprehend that. Go's not going to be
Initially.
Oh yeah, that's on that infographic. Is
To
like
me,
the
that's like-
Go is labeled as like coming soon.
That
what
could
do
be
we
their
do?
biggest one, is
Like,
because like that
isn't
one has
that
had
the whole point of
100%. Especially when they're lauding, like, hey, you can use this on your phone, but you can't take the phone Pokemon yet.
bizarre?
Yeah.
The phone come on.
Oh, weird.
All right, let's move
Okay.
on.
They are offering a free month of it when it initially comes out in February. So
Okay. Yeah, it's out next month.
Yeah.
Exciting. All right, let's whip through a few more of these headlines real fast here. Torchlight Frontiers has become Torchlight 3.
Oh.
It was free to play. They are dropping that. It's just going to be a paid thing, and they say it's going to be a lot like Torchlight 1 and 2. Now,
I forgot they were
Yeah.
making another
Yeah.
Torchlight, seeing
Well, it's
as
like-
how the original developer doesn't exist anymore.
right? It's like I think it's
But some of the
largely
people from that team,
like
are
Max
at-
Schaefer is the guy that
Yeah.
did the video announcing this change. So
Right.
like some of the definitely like key people are
Yeah, so
they're
it's
under a new
it's a
name.
new developer thing, but yeah,
But they're
it's,
under
Perfect World.
yes,
Yeah.
they are controlled by Perfect
So-
World.
Is Arc Perfect World's launcher?
that sounds right.
Is that right?
That sounds right.
Because in this announcement video, he was like, "This will." I don't know if it was going to be an Arc launch, an Arc launcher game, or if he's just.
Well, since it was when it was free to play, it probably
Oh, it would have been that makes
Yeah.
sense because then they would get all the
since
money.
it was an
for the- yes,
MMO
that
and all
makes
this other
sense.
stuff.
Yes.
So,
he
originally it was like, hey, this is going to be a free to play shared world
Right.
loot driven game, and now they're like, so about that,
yeah.
So we
it's-
decided to make a game, which is I don't know if you remember, but like that's kind of how Torchlight 2 went.
Yeah, because originally they made Torchlight, it blew up, and they were like, "Now we want to make an MMO-esque
Like
game."
the
out
plan
of
was
this.
always
Yeah.
to make Torchlight and then make the MMO.
It's like they've been trying to get to this place for years, and
and then they
just keep
spend time making it and go like, oh, maybe this isn't fun. Maybe we
Yeah.
should just make another one of these.
right. So yeah, now they're back to like kind of a basically offline experience, 4 player classes, like pets and forts and
Yeah.
all the
Another Torchlight,
Yeah,
Another.
which is sure. Okay.
and it's on Steam now. Like it's not.
Yeah.
He flat out says this will not be an Arc game. This will be a Steam game.
Did they say anything? Do you see anything in there about if it's still coming to console? 'Cause it
Yes,
was, okay.
yes. Later,
Okay.
launches
It was
just
initially relaunched, announced for all 3.
PC only at first, and then consoles sometime after.
Yeah.
That's got to be tough to pivot like that, like to find out and like to actively admit that, hey, this is not going well. We should just make something different.
He's got some like pretty good language in there about
Yeah.
like as you develop a game, it tells you what kind of game it wants to be or something
That's
like
great.
that. So like they seem pretty upbeat
I'm
about
sure
it.
plenty of the assets probably just like are still valid.
Sure.
They probably
Well,
don't
yeah,
have to throw out too
absolutely,
much. But yeah.
Housemarque.
Mhm.
If you remember, they kind of said that they were done making arcade games.
Arcades are dead.
Yes, yes. I fucking like a lot of Housemarque games from that era, the Next Machinas and Super Stardust HD.
Yeah.
And
Alien Nation.
God, what is the Resogun?
Resogun,
PS4 launch game. Like they made a lot of cool games in that style, and then they were like, "Nah, we're gonna make a battle royale game." And now they are putting that battle royale game on hold.
Resogun 2.
Storm-
Arcades alive again.
Storm Divers, if you remember them announcing that.
Yep.
It looked like it was going to be a battle royale game with like major weather component or something, and like maybe some flight jetpacky stuff. I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, they were like, "Hey, we're pivoting to bigger games, such as this battle royale game a few years ago," and now they are not currently working on that game because they say they're working on something bigger that the whole studio is on.
They're just going to keep
Yeah.
like, no, that game, fuck that game. Now we're going to something even bigger than
doing
that
an
bigger
MMO.
thing. Yeah, we're doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to bring this.
Torchlight Frontiers, we're calling it.
I wanted to bring this up because A, I like Housemarque, and B, because I wonder if this is just a sign of like, hey, this battle royale market is like kind of sewn up. It might be risky to try to put it in the bank the future of the studio on another one of these right now.
Yeah, could be.
Speaking of, did you guys see that Apex 4 new season
Yeah,
thing?
that was fun.
Yeah, so they had basically they had teased that there was going to be a new hero. He was this like big kind of robot arm boxing
Boxer
guy,
guy,
Wrestler
dude.
Yeah.
And so like they put out the teaser for him, and it's like a press junket thing. He's talking to this lady about stuff, and he's like, "I'm the best. I'm gonna win the Apex," and then he gets just fucking like stabbed. Like a dude just sneaks up behind and murders him, and she's just freaking out. And then it's actually for this Revenant.
That's the theory, I guess. Yeah.
So that character is not in the game?
No, that
Wow.
character's made up. I guess it like leaked a day ahead,
Okay.
so like Reddit knew and everything. Because all the comments on the Reddit post were like, "Damn, this would have been really cool if I didn't know it was happening."
Well, this is the first I'm hearing
Yeah,
of it.
no,
So
it was-
for most of the last week, I assumed that guy was the new character.
I kind of like saw the character and didn't have time to check in on it until like yesterday. And I
Yeah.
watched that trailer and I was like, "That's cool."
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Like that's a well done, fun story thing. And then like you start to think about like, well, what season 4 is called, like assimilation or something, right?
Yeah.
So maybe there's some form of this Forge character that lives on or something.
Yeah,
like
who knows?
that.
Because they were added some in map stuff for
You can find his death box.
You can find his death box. There's like ads for like Hudson Hammond
It's one of the
Robotics
Titanfall
everywhere.
corporations,
They
yeah.
added those in because they're his sponsor.
Yeah.
So yeah, like they will use him more than just like this little tiny
Yeah.
thing.
Like
but
a
I thought it
fun-
was a really great like, oh, cool. You
Yeah.
don't usually see like stuff like this when it comes to character announcements because people are so like
It's interesting because they did like a live dev chat
Yeah.
thing where they had like a writer, they had like people live real people on camera talking about this character and what he could do and sort of like, hey, he's gonna
Wow.
really close like the day before they fucking murdered him or
commitment to their bit.
a few days before or whatever. Yeah, it was like a really good commitment to the bit that then like data miners uncovered the truth or something. So hey,
Great.
it's still it's still a really cool thing they did.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. You could totally just see like some creatives sitting around the studio, like maybe after hours one day, just going like, we should make a fake character and then kill them off or something like
Or
that.
like they had like
Gotta have
half
a
of them
swerve,
figured
bro.
out
Yeah.
and they're just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Just kill them.
Yeah,
Start from scratch.
That's cool. Psyonix is pulling the Mac and Linux versions of Rocket League, where they're basically going to end support for them. They will no longer work online. I mean, you can still play them offline if you want, but they say collectively those versions are less than 0.3% of their
Yeah.
active players.
And that's not like the full story. Like, the big thing is that, they're moving from like DirectX 9 to
they-
like 11 or
they
something
say
like that.
they're
Like that would take considerable resources
Yeah,
to move the team and the engine, over to that.
Yeah, they're-
There's some incompatibility concerns.
Yeah, they're basically doing a massive tech upgrade to the basic platform, and they basically said like, hey, the amount of resources it would take to rebuild these games on these platforms is not justified by the player counts.
Right.
Also, they're anybody who owns it on those platforms and wants a refund is getting one.
Oh, cool.
So,
Yeah, and that falls like outside of the normal Steam refund policy.
It also doesn't cover any microtransaction purchases.
Yeah, sure.
So like, yeah, it's a refund. It's not a full. Like there may be people on those platforms that spent way more than that base amount of money.
Yeah,
That are out.
that's true.
I'm sorry for both of their.
Yeah. Yeah.
Worse.
It's again. Yeah. But also, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, it sucks whenever that happens, but when you're on Linux or Mac, it's a roll of the dice.
I'm surprised that Rocket League existed on those platforms to begin with.
Sure.
Same.
I did not know that they were there to
No.
begin with. So
The refund even on the base game is already more than I would expect for a lot of
Yeah.
situations like this. So that's kind of not terrible.
it's almost like Epic can afford it.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, I forgot they're.
Yeah.
I knew it was on Epic. I forgot they are Epic.
Indeed. This podcast with Reggie Fils-Aimé that's going around is kind of fun. The podcast is called Present Value. Apparently, it's done by some graduate students at Cornell University. It's like a business podcast.
Yeah.
I assume they're like MBAs or something.
And he's at a VC company or something now.
Oh, that's right. He
Yeah.
did. Okay, I forgot about that.
Sure.
Um,
It was either that or politics.
Yeah.
He basically told a bunch of anecdotes about his whole career in business, most of which obviously is at Nintendo on this podcast, but there's some other stuff from some of his other gigs.
Did he have fun Pizza Hut stories?
Yes, there is a good one. But the one that seems to be grabbing all the headlines is that apparently when he came in at Nintendo, they were in the process of what he described as, what was the phrasing he used? An aged up logo for Nintendo, perhaps in a graffiti style.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay.
Like
That's
it-
what I need.
I've never heard this descriptor before, but did he use the word racetrack? No, I got this off of Ars Technica. I've never heard anybody call the classic Nintendo logo the racetrack logo, but I guess that's totally what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, he came in around 03, 04, and apparently they were not. Let's see. When I joined Nintendo, there was a sense of almost shame that Nintendo appealed to young consumers. The marketing team at Nintendo of America started doing things with the logo, that classic Nintendo logo in an oval. They would put it in a graffiti style, or they'd do different things to try to age it up. And I put a stop to that because that is not our brand.
They put it in a graffiti style and put Taz in front of it wearing loose basketball shorts.
Yeah.
And he goes on to talk about what they did instead of that, but just this got me thinking about the direction of Nintendo in like the late 90s.
Like the Play It Loud
Yes,
series.
yes, exactly that
definitely.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I got a hold of a VHS tape, like a Nintendo promotional VHS tape in the 90s. Like, I wanted it because it had Mortal Kombat 2 footage for Super Nintendo on it.
Yeah.
But they were using like Butthole Surfers for the background music and stuff like that. They were just like,
There was a weird
Nintendo was
there.
really trying to be edgy for a weird period of years there.
But like they were trying to be Nintendo edgy. Like they could never be.
Yes, it felt like your dad trying to be edgy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's like dad edgy.
Every time they've tried to do it, and I feel like with the Switch and stuff, they've hit upon. It just turns out like, hey, have games that appeal to wider audiences.
They've mostly found a way to seem like cool and still genuinely Nintendo.
Yeah.
Like maybe like rooftop Mario Kart aside.
Yeah, totally. Like some of that stuff, but also,
But even that,
for as corny as that stuff was, it like you were still trying to wrap your mind around what was the system capable of.
I went back and watched
stuff
that.
was
and
effective.
like I've legitimately been to parties that have gone in that fashion.
I watched that Switch reveal video again like a couple weeks ago just to remember, and like it pitches the concept of the system very well.
Yeah.
For the first thing you're seeing of it. It's just, man, it's wild.
I posted, I think, one of them to the site. I need to post the rest. Google released lifestyle photos for the Stadia. Like people gathered around a TV with a pizza box and a controller having a good time. Like they did that photo shoot that like no one fucking does anymore. And you want to look, or I want to look at it and go like, someone knew that this would be fucking hilarious to do. But the longer I think about it, like, no, everyone thought that this was something they needed to do and that this is a good thing to do. But you just look at it, it's just
cringeworthy.
It's like people holding Stadia controllers near pizza and on a coffee table going like, yeah, man, we're gaming. And it's just, the fucking dumbest shit.
Love to game. That's just, man, it's rough to think what would have happened if he had not come in and stopped this stuff. Like, where would Nintendo have gone?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. 03, 04, so that's like
DS came out in 04. So.
Yeah, that's kind of like mid GameCube, right?
Yeah.
So
he talks about a bunch of that stuff. I kind of want to listen to this podcast. Like, he talked about his interview process getting into Nintendo and how, like, before he would accept the job, he wanted a phone call with Iwata, and, like, apparently the management in Japan was just like, who is this guy who wants to talk to our president? What the fuck is this?
Right.
But they made it happen anyway. He talks about.
I mean, he's big. They couldn't say no.
So he talks about like the infamous press conference moment where fucking nobody in the world knew who he was until he walked out on stage and gave the line. And apparently he was concerned about it, according to his account.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just read. Like, he talks about they were trying to decide how to present the new direction of the company and blah blah blah. Given my aggressive nature, my ability to confidently speak in front of thousands, it became my job to set the stage for this new direction. Yes, those fateful words, I'm about kicking ass and taking names, they were completely thought through. I was the devil's advocate. Is this really what we want to say? Is this the approach? It began the journey of what Nintendo would accomplish, not just the bravado. We had the goods to back it up.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's and lastly, he talks about some Pizza Hut stuff. Including apparently
the ill-fated Bigfoot,
calling the Bigfoot pizza one of his biggest personal failures and the thing that led to Papa John's becoming a thing. So
Wow. So
wow.
Reggie's canceled.
I don't remember
by the transitive property.
Yep.
I don't remember much about the Bigfoot pizza.
It was square
Yeah.
or rectangular.
It was a big
Just a
rectangle,
straight up
yeah.
Little Caesars knockoff, more or less.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, Little Caesars doesn't make
Detroit style.
that.
Do they
Yeah,
not?
they do. They do their deep
the
dish
deep
is
dish
like a
is,
big
but like it's not
rectangle.
like it used to
Oh
be.
my
It's
God,
not
really?
it's not the gigantic
Is it not?
rectangle.
Holy
You
shit!
get
I haven't
circular
had it
pizzas.
in
You get
years.
circular pizzas from them.
Damn.
Yeah,
you go get.
I really
Pizza.
They had that double pepperoni that was all right a couple years ago as a big rectangle.
That's their deep dish.
Yeah.
Yeah, the deep dish stuff, but it's not big. You're not walking out of there trying to fucking crack the cardboard, fucking Bret the Hitman Hart style. Like it's
Oh wow, there is a pizza company. There's a restaurant chain in Canada called Pizza Pizza.
Yeah, it is.
They just straight up lifted it.
Did they lift it, or is it the same company?
Or
I think it might
know.
actually be.
They just don't know who Caesar is in Canada.
Right.
Caesar just
I don't know.
I think Pizza might just be that up there.
It's the same color.
I could be wrong,
Yeah.
but
No, this is Little Caesars as specifically one of their competitors.
oh man,
What the
brutal.
Yeah, wow. Cutthroat in the pizza world.
Yeah,
You got to eat upwards of 40 pizzas in 30 days to hang with this shit.
I could do it.
Watch me.
Listen to the last week's Aftermath.
Yeah.
We really get into if we could do that.
I might have to pull up that Reggie episode. That sounds
Yeah, that
Yeah,
sounds
check that
interesting.
out.
it's cool. It's cool to like see a guy at that high level of a major company like getting out there and telling stories.
Well, I think it also
being
like
candid. Yeah.
if you think about like maybe some of the unspoken messages in some of that, when you think about like him talking about directions and logos and stuff like that, I think it really speaks to like there's not a ton of game development happening here. Like it's a lot of like it's a sales organization. The stuff comes in from Japan and they have to figure out how to market this to the audiences here and try to figure out which demographics they can appeal to. So it's like, oh, are we aging up the logo to try to? Are these games going to appeal to an older audience? Are we, what are we
Is this
doing?
game too hard?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, in a sense, like
That was
trying
the
to
Mario
figure
2
out.
thing that we were talking about in last week's stream, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Well, he does give credit to the products in that, saying like, coming in 2003, he was able to look at like the DS and the Wii before they were out and know what the company had up its sleeve. So that was able to like dictate the marketing direction they should go in. All right. Last story. I'm just going to read the top of the press release. Atari announces world-class video game themed Atari Hotels.
Finally.
First Atari hotel to begin construction in Phoenix.
Beautiful Phoenix, Arizona.
In mid-2020.
I had a great time last time I was in Phoenix.
This is brought to you by
I did not.
Hotel Group and
should I just read this paragraph?
yes, please, at least that first sentence or whatever sentence it is.
Hotel development and design is being led by Shelley Murphy's GSD Group and Napoleon Smith III, producer of the wildly successful Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film franchise reboot.
Yeah. This is never going to happen.
or it is and it's money laundering.
Oh, sure. Okay.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. I don't think Atari has any money left to launder, but maybe someone else does.
Well, they're
and they're laundering it through Atari. Sure.
That's what I'm thinking.
Sure.
Atari Hotels level up hotel entertainment with fully immersive experiences
Get fucked.
for every age and gaming ability, including the latest in VR and AR.
Hey,
Select hotels will also feature state-of-the-art venues and studios to accommodate esports events.
there's so much money in that.
Because the first thing I think of when I think of Atari is VR and esports.
Right.
Those classic Atari endeavors.
Well,
It's the Hotel Wood Grain.
There's another quote in there. I forgot from who
yeah,
that
it's
is. Like,
all wood grain hotel. Yeah.
yeah,
Is it this one? When creating this brand new hotel concept, we knew that Atari would be the perfect way to give guests the nostalgic and retro meets modern look and feel we were going for.
Just like the Atari.
Let's face it, how cool will it be to stay inside an Atari?
that's the one. That's the one.
I would get mesothelioma inside of an Atari.
Yeah, probably. That's fucking insane. I don't know. This is on par with like, hey, we're gonna make an asteroids movie. Like it's just Atari.
I want to go.
It's still a recognizable brand. What can we do with this?
Yeah.
How can we make money on this?
How can we get some money coming in?
hotels.
But like even this is like, what is this? This is like, this isn't real. This is them trying to make a pitch to get money, right? Like they have nothing. They have like a
They say
picture.
it's-
They have a fake picture of a fucking hotel. This is like this is a concept of what it could look like.
Sure.
Like all they have are concepts.
Well,
and
this said
all they
it's
want is
starting-
money.
It's starting. In
And not even
Phoenix this
Atari. Like
year.
all these other people. Napoleon Smith III is out there.
Imagine.
You
living-
you can
trying
make
to
fun
make it
of you can
happen
make
in
fun of Atari on this podcast. Please do not make fun of Napoleon's. What's his name?
I
The
wouldn't
third.
dare.
The third.
He was the producer of the wildly successful Teenage
Wildly
Mutant Ninja
okay.
Turtle film reboot.
What the fuck have I done?
I missed this. The GSD Group is described in this as a leading innovation and strategy agency. What
Yeah,
does that
man.
even mean?
That's who I think of.
this whole thing.
That sounds like a lot of smoke and mirrors.
This whole thing sounds like I feel like a lot of the stuff the Atari brand has been affiliated with for the past 5 years, if not 10. I don't know. I can't even. We'd have to go back.
Yeah.
I will say we had a voicemail in the after show that I never got to of a new father using the speaker hat while he was holding his baby as a nice way to, like hands free. It was like, it's actually maybe a little better.
I think we took that as an email.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's So the Atari brand, I feel like, is so tarnished and meaningless at this point. That, like, of course they're doing this, right? I mean, it's anyone who I think follows gaming in any kind of long-term way or anything, like, knows that Atari is just like nothing now.
Maybe this is the payoff of all their crypto stuff from the last few years.
Sure, Atari. Yeah, they're using Atari coin to make all this happen, otherwise known as quarters.
They do say they have made a deal with a Phoenix-based real estate developer.
I bet they have.
So,
I mean, I bet a hotel will be built there. Will it actually come to fruition and be an Atari hotel in this exact way?
With an esports zone?
With an esports zone. And, I'm going to...
Podcast recording studio.
Do I download an app and then AR will guide me to my room?
And look who's in your room. Oh, it's Custer from...
You got the Custer's Revenge suite? Oh, God.
oh boy.
It's a honeymoon.
Well, we'll find out, because they say that San Francisco is on the list of initial cities to get an Atari hotel.
We'll be there.
One.
Where would they put an Atari hotel in the city?
Like, legitimately?
Yeah.
San Mateo.
No,
I think San Jose is on
San
the
Jose
list.
is also getting one.
Oh, okay, great.
Oh, I'll be in between two.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine that in, like, around Union Square or whatever?
Yeah, it'd have to be downtown.
It takes up Union Square. Union Square becomes the Atari Hotel.
Square.
Or just take
The
Salesforce
logo.
Tower,
There's space in there.
No one's using that.
Everything else is sinking.
There's plenty of, like, burnt out motor inns that you could bulldoze. Sure. Hey, there's plenty of, like, still somehow reasonably priced housing that you could, like, tear out and put in a shitty boutique hotel. I'm sure you could make this city slightly worse.
These artist renderings don't look that big. They probably look like, I don't know, 10 floors or something.
Yeah. It's, like I got this press release yesterday, and just I feel like my only reaction was like, "Of course, of course, this is the next move
It
for
is
the
the
Atari
least
brand."
and most likely thing to happen with the Atari.
Yeah. But like, I wonder, like, because they were trying to put their game IPs up for sale, and I don't know if any of them sold off or. I mean, it's like classic stuff. Like they were probably asking too much money.
Yeah.
They were like, they aren't even 8-bit.
For the right price, I would buy the Yar's Revenge IP.
What's the right price? $250?
Sure. You might be able to compel me to pay 300 bones for that.
Okay, well, I'm going to go call Atari. And
you see, if you can get me Yar's Revenge for $300, let's set this up.
I'll need a finder's fee.
I've said it before. I would sooner pay $300 for the original painting of the cover of Yar's Revenge than for that actual property.
Okay, see, that's why I'm buying it, because then I could sell you that artwork for $300. I'm already coming out ahead.
All right, I'm in. I just want the painting. I hope these are built.
I do too.
I also don't think there's a chance in hell that they actually build that many hotels in those locations. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
But God, I hope they do.
Whatever ended up happening with the Atari Classic? Did that come out?
No.
Still happening.
It got
supposedly
got delayed.
Remember the last time they delayed it, they were like, "Oh, we're making the hardware better. We're doing a big upgrade."
Yeah.
So
It'll be in every hotel room.
That's right.
God, you're probably
stay
right.
in the executive suite and you get a Atari Classic.
Well, no one's gonna. I mean, they'll have a bunch of return stock from retailers at some point if they ever do ship it. So
Exactly.
might as well put it in the hotels.
Yeah.
Well,
That's how you control your TV.
The thing's like it's just like a Linux box, like $400 or something. It's like too much.
It's fucking dumb.
good luck to Napoleon Smith III and all else involved.
Yes,
I
please.
thought that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie was okay.
Great.
Okay.
All right.
Do you think that like the minds? Okay, think about like the brain power that went into that.
Yeah.
If you apply that to a hotel, do you think it would be good?
I think it'd be okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Seamus might be there.
Oh well, all right.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. They were going to make that WWF hotel back in the day.
Oh, were they?
They bought the Debbie Reynolds Hotel in Vegas, and they were going to do that as a
shit.
big old wrestling hotel. And
Oh
then,
my
So I'm
God.
looking at it as if that didn't happen, then there's no chance this one.
Yeah.
Will Casey Jones be there?
Yeah, but not the case. You know, he doesn't wear the mask.
What's the point?
Only if Ernie Reyes Jr. from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 is there. Fair enough.
Elias Koteas came up on UPF, and Alaska seemed surprised that I knew who that was. And I was like, how do you not know who that is? Yeah. Come on, man.
I don't know who that is.
It's Casey Jones.
It's the original Casey Jones.
Okay.
That's right.
I know.
I don't know because of the mask.
I didn't know.
That's a good point. Okay, that's fair. I'll give you that. All right, we got to take another quick break. We've got a stack of emails to read, and we will come back in a minute and read them. Emails, bombcast@johnbomb.com.
Okay.
There we go.
Great.
So people send us these?
Yes, they come over the internet.
People.
Anyone
that's
send
not-
one of these?
The Pope.
Yes, we have
What should I send an email about?
a variety of papal emails.
If
here.
I'm a listener, what kind of questions do you guys like to answer?
What are your thoughts on Vatican City?
Gaming culture.
Yeah.
We're here to talk
epicenter
about
of
the
the
culture of video gaming.
Vatican City.
That's right. Brandon.
We like to have a lot of fun from a wide variety of topics. Animes,
Yeah. What shouldn't I write in about?
meat.
No.
No, feel free to write in about meat.
definitely write in
please
about me.
Animes, meat,
That's
professional wrestling.
Kind of no.
Video games themselves.
Not that one. Not those ones either. All right.
Energy drinks.
Cobra Commander.
How
Your
about
thoughts on his leadership abilities?
Sonic the Hedgehog?
Nope.
Pass.
Not a part of gaming culture. Sorry.
He's a movie star now.
Yeah.
He's left us.
I have bad news for you.
Oh, shit.
Brandon,
All of these
You're going to read a
questions are
Sonic
about
email, so of course it's bad news.
Brandon from Louisville, Kentucky. I have loved Sonic my whole life and
Oh,
want
man.
to
The bad
see
news.
and I want to see the movie on opening day, which is Valentine's Day.
Yes.
How do I convince my wife to go?
Tell her it's important to you.
Okay, yeah. That's a good real answer.
Okay, that's fine, but then how do you apologize to her later?
I'm sorry.
Get her a nice Valentine's
Yeah.
gift. Find something important to her, like from
if-
her childhood
What
or
if that
something.
movie is
Wait,
great?
Is she not into Sonic
Okay,
the
Brad,
Hedgehog?
let's not.
What? Hang on.
How did
Is
you
that,
guys find each
Yeah.
other?
What?
What if that movie is
think-
amazing?
You joke, but I have a pair of friends who have been dating for 12 years now that met on a Sonic the Hedgehog message board.
Yeah.
Why would you out me like that?
see the music video that came out? For the soundtrack?
Who is
I listened-
Sueko the Child.
Oh my
the
God.
child. I posted that picture. My friend said, "Is that Billie Eilish?"
No.
I got about 20 seconds into the video for what I guess I
do you miss?
assumed to be his.
the Wiz Khalifa part.
No, I'm talking about his actual like big hit. Or
Oh,
whatever.
yes.
Oh,
Fast.
I could not. Yes, I could not.
Which is
make
a
it.
better name for a Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sure.
I mean that's probably the whole reason.
I couldn't make it very.
You're probably no. I feel like the whole reason is that like that whole track seems constructed in such a way that a record label said like we got to get this kid over.
Yeah, yeah.
Put him with Wiz Khalifa.
Lil
Like
Yachty.
we gotta make this happen.
We gotta get Mount Ratmore on
big
this.
on TikTok, but we've got to make this real. So I guess actually that is the answer. Is I think he was making beats on TikTok, and apparently that's how you blow up now.
That's all it takes.
Okay.
Well, now it's Bite.
Right, exactly.
gotta be
Now it's
big on
of
Bite.
course, yes. I'm going to be big on
Big
Bite.
on Bite. Shit.
That just rolls
How
right.
do you
out.
get big
I
on
still haven't
Bite?
gotten my
Big on Bite?
username just because every time I think of a good username, it's already taken.
Is it bite with a T or an I or a Y?
Why?
Why?
Okay.
But you can't see like follower count. can you?
Exactly.
That's
That's the hot new trend. That's the, like,
Yeah.
everyone is like flirting with that. Like, what if we stopped showing likes on
Yeah.
Instagram? And what if we stopped showing the numbers because it's super unhealthy?
Great.
It really is.
All for it. I think Jeff nailed it. I think you explain like earnestly, like look, I know this is gonna sound funny or whatever. Like she probably knows you're a gamer. You're married. You're writing into the Giant Bombcast. I'm going to say you probably have like some consoles up in your house somewhere. She probably knows you're interested.
What
in
if the
video
whole
games.
thing's a dark secret and it has to be like,
And
hey,
this is how you decide to break
listen,
it?
I really want to see the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Why?
You don't like you don't
sit down.
I know you don't know this about me.
you know my man cave that you're never allowed in.
Man cave.
I'm bringing you in. Yeah, just
We're gonna read
explain.
you in on our plans for the man cave.
Explain that it's important to you. Explain that like you think it's going to be cheesy, but you'll have a good time together. Tell her there's no one else in the world you'd rather see the Sonic the Hedgehog movie with. And then do something nice.
Or try to find a midnight show on the 13th.
No, you got to go with your loved one to see Sonic.
No, and bring her. I mean, like that way you can still do something else.
Yeah, or you could do like a 10 a.m.
What?
showing on like.
Oh yeah. If
Valentine's.
you go, well, I feel like if you go to the first show, like, how do you want to see the movie? Right? Do you want to see it with a bunch of actual kids?
No.
Then don't go to the first showing.
Well, do you want to see it with a bunch of other Sonic freak adults?
No.
Then don't go to the midnight showing.
All right, wait for it to come out on Blu-ray. Watch it in your underwear.
There you go. I mean, that takes like 6 weeks these days. Anyway,
It does. It doesn't it? Wow.
I'm seeing it on opening day. It wasn't even my idea. It was my partner's.
wow.
It's all
Strong
weekend.
foundation
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I'm excited, but I hope that Mad Lib didn't fucking spoil the end of that movie.
Yeah, you read the last page of the Mad Libs to me, and I'm
It
that
involves a
has to be
certain
it.
brand partnership that I really hope is true.
Oof. That'd be some primo product placement. That's just, you don't do product placement for Mad Libs, so that has to be real, right?
Let's just get both of the Sonic emails out of the way now.
Better go fast.
This one is from Abby in Arizona. Ben mentioned on the last podcast a Sonic billboard he saw.
Yeah.
There's one overlooking a strip club near where I work.
Nice.
I have provided photographic evidence of its glory. Sonic's smug gaze reminds me of the eyes on the billboard in The Great Gatsby, spying on all sin. If you can't read the tagline, it says, "If you were me, you'd be home by now." And it's
Wow.
I think it,
Because he lives at that strip club.
it's a pretty nicely composed photograph of Sonic Billboard and the Dream Palace. So
Dream Palace.
You think the Dream Palace has a good buffet?
No.
good,
Yeah.
it's good brand synergy going on there.
Dream Hill Zone.
Yeah.
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 Much better.
Let's see. Mike from DC. I think this came up recently. Hello Kitty has a pet cat named Charmy Kitty. What are your thoughts on this? Is it morally okay for Hello Kitty to own another cat?
Yes, she's a funny
Yeah.
animal.
Should I boycott Hello Kitty?
And the other one's just an
just a
animal.
cat.
Also, Hello Kitty is canonically British.
Oh.
Is she? Okay. Well, that cat could, be a cast member if it wasn't so dumb. That's the thing. You got to be smart to be like Hello Kitty status.
Right. Pluto's dumb. Goofy is
Pluto's-
smart.
Exactly.
I think during a sound check, I brought up that Hello Kitty was 5 apples tall.
Ah, yes.
Yeah,
right.
might have
I
been
knew
it.
that. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's so little.
Yeah.
It's true fan.
I think you're underestimating how tall an apple can be there.
No.
We could
We're saying, like,
figure this out later.
Like
There's fruit in the kitchen.
4 to 5 inches
Those are small ass apples in
per
the kitchen,
apple
though.
Mm-hmm.
times 5. That's 25 inches max. That's
Yeah.
like 2.5.
That's like 2.5. That's like, yeah.
That's like 2 feet.
It's like 2 feet.
That's not that tall.
That's scary.
That's little.
But tall.
But it's tall enough to be afraid of.
it's horrifyingly small.
Like if it was this big, I wouldn't be afraid of it. But if it was
Yes,
like
I'm
6
with you.
inches,
No,
I think it's cute.
I
cute.
I'm actually the
wouldn't
opposite.
be afraid. But if it was like 2.5 feet,
That's
like what
a
we're talking
toddler.
about,
Yeah, it's a toddler size.
they're scary.
I'm more scared
Especially
of
if
a
it was a
Chucky
cat.
style,
Oh, okay.
small doll-shaped
Wait,
cat with a
Chucky's.
giant head.
I feel like Chucky's about that size,
Yeah.
right?
See,
Chucky's like 2.5 feet.
Maybe
See?
I'm thinking of. I've never seen Child's Play, but I have seen The
shouldn't.
Simpsons Treehouse of Horror, where he has the Krusty doll that's like actual doll
it's the
size.
same.
That's
Same thing.
Question from John. Are Kiss just boomer juggalos?
We have a whole collection of Kiss action figures
Yeah.
over there, and
I
I've
mean,
been
Not anymore,
debating.
I think.
Are they gone?
I think they may be gone.
I was
they're
debating
gone.
taking those home or not.
Aw.
I'm glad
Actually,
they're
I
gone.
stole those from like GameSpot's runoff. They had a pit of stuff that they didn't want, and I'm like,
Mhm.
I think we need these.
Turns out we
Fantastic.
didn't.
Yeah.
Starman.
Kiss is bad.
Kiss is
I
bad.
can't fucking Kiss. The members of Kiss are totally boomers. I had never even thought about it before.
I look.
Like literal.
There are far more Insane Clown Posse songs that I like than Kiss songs.
Yeah, agreed.
Far more.
Trying to think of a Kiss song that I like. I don't even know that many.
Tears are falling.
Detroit Rock City.
Like,
They also seem more sincere about their art and their personas than Kiss does.
Yes,
That's true.
Yeah,
Sometimes they got the
Sure.
makeup.
don't
Sometimes
they?
don't.
Would
Then
you
they
say?
put it
Would you
on
say
again.
that they have opposing biblical alignments? However,
potentially. Potentially.
Yeah, wait, how is Kiss more satanic than the fucking ICP?
they're knights in Satan's service?
I
Right.
know, it's
yeah. All right. Enough said. Let's move on.
also if those are Satan's knights, I'm really not scared of going to hell.
yeah.
Brian from Winnipeg. Last week, Ben was shocked at still learning new things about Mario 3 and Mario World. Here's something obscure about the original Super Mario Brothers that I only learned a couple of years ago. It's not as crazy as 3's coin ships, but I think the full extent of it is even less well known. Okay. There are invisible blocks containing 1-ups in the first level of every world in Super Mario Brothers. So, 1-1, 2-1, 8-1. Except they're not always there. You can't always get them. If you collect one of these 1-ups and then die, it won't be there on your next life. This part is reasonably well known. But it's more complicated than that. In order for these invisible blocks to possibly be present in a world, one of the following must be true. You've warped to a world, or started a new game at 1-1, or continued after game over with the A+ start trick, or in the previous world's third level collected, quote, enough coins. For the invisible block with the 1-up to exist in 2-1 without warping or continuing, you need to collect at least all but 2 of the coins in 1-3.
All but what?
You need to get every coin except however many coins there are in 1-3. You have to get all of them, at least all of them minus 2.
Yeah. Is this just natural coins? Is this coins in blocks?
I don't know.
How does multi-box?
He doesn't say. He says for all other worlds in the game, you have to get all of the coins in the previous third level for the 1-up to show up in the subsequent world,
unless you're continuing.
Yes,
or have continued,
or warping there,
or warping there.
Weird.
In addition to the above, if you scroll the screen close enough to the invisible block with the 1-up, you will only have that one chance to get it. Whether or not you do get it, it won't exist again in that world until game over. So if you start a new game and fall into the first pit of 1-1, that's too close to the invisible block, which will not be there on your subsequent lives, even if you missed it. It's like quantum Mario mechanics. By observing something, you've changed future results. Except you might not actually observe anything because it's invisible. Now you too know this obscure bullshit.
I love this shit.
What obscure bullshit can you rattle off on command?
I love this shit because it's like video games are. I was just talking to somebody yesterday about this. Video games are kind of are unique in that regard of like, you don't really, excuse me, like if you revisit an old movie 20 years later, it's hard to discover new things about it.
Like everything is right there and visible.
Right. Like you can just watch it and know, and then like maybe you can hear a story of something that happened behind the scenes that's new or whatever. But
like maybe there's some new supplemental material.
The art itself is constantly like, have you guys seen the new Ocarina of Time speedrun stuff?
Oh, is that the stuff with the Star Fox?
The slingshot.
Oh.
This
was different. Okay.
They discovered that with inputs on the slingshot, you can basically recode the game while you're playing it.
Okay, I think this might be related
to the end of the game just by doing very specific movements with the slingshot.
So is that? Do you know if that's also the way they got the Star Fox stuff? Do you know about this? So there's a way
to get this because there's a way in there all the time.
Right, there's a way to spawn an R-wing in that game because they use the code for an R-wing flying to like make one of the bosses in that game fly. So like the R-wing model is on the cart.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it's using that same trick of you can like input a bunch of...
and I think recently they just found a way to do it with no hacking.
Well, it used to you used to be able to change what was in a chest with this sort of system, but now you can just straight up like get to the end of the game.
It's some wild shit.
So like that shit basically, like video games are unique in that regard, and I think that's really fascinating.
I think that stuff is super cool for sure. Let's see. Here it is. Sheets. Last week, Brad stated that he slept on the couch in order to not defile the clean sheets on his bed. I, for one, applaud this genius decision. I cannot think of a higher state of bliss than getting into your bed with freshly made sheets after taking a stupid hot shower. This has me wondering what weird household rituals or behaviors do the rest of you have?
Brad, please be honest. That was the one positive, and you got like 100 emails saying that was insane, right?
What?
Right?
We just changed the sheets, and then I was too lazy to shower. It was not about to get
wearing clothes, right?
Not about to get a completely clean.
What were you doing? Were you digging through the mud looking for clams?
I just like I said, I just really like
Brad gets dirty.
Really like clean
sheets. All
sheets.
Psychological.
It is.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
Right.
So what are your weird household rituals?
I have to have a fan on at all times.
Okay.
It's like a white noise thing.
Yeah, kind of, but also the breeze.
You have you have a self shut off timer, right? So it doesn't take all the air out of the room and you suffocate in your sleep.
No, it's on 24/7. Yeah,
you're really playing with fire.
It gets dirty. It gets we clean that pretty often. Have to.
I don't know. I don't know that I can think of any.
I mean, I don't have anything that. Like I need to do it, but I think one of life's greatest joys is slipping into like a completely warm, right out of the dryer outfit. Like taking a shower, timing it with the end of your dryer load, and then just hopping right into those clothes out of the dryer. Like that's the closest I get to being in.
You ever redry the clothes just to get that feeling?
I've definitely like tossed something in, like if my partner's doing laundry or something, I'm like, I'm just going to throw these in for like a couple minutes.
Oh, you probably have washer and dryer in your... God damn it.
I can just run it and sit on it.
That is
like,
the true American dream is just having...
I get to clean my lid remover and whatever I want.
Or not clean it if I don't want to.
No, I love doing it. I love it.
It's so stuck together. It's just like, man, this is like a different thing now. I feel like I can make something out of this.
Twirl it up.
Yeah, it's a fun mustache.
When I was a kid, I was convinced I would be able to make my own clothes out of it if I got enough of it.
Absolutely. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to. Mix some glue in there.
Yeah.
That's how fabric is made.
Yeah.
Yeah. Save that stuff up. It's good for starting campfires.
Yep.
Oh.
Just touch a battery to it.
What?
Well, I think you need some steel wool too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's an email from Ryan in Medina. I don't know where that is. Medina.
California? That
Maybe?
Sounds like a California.
Could be.
Where the hell is Medina?
I was watching last week's Playdate where Ben asked about original Xbox games that he might have missed, and Brad mentioned Bloodwake. Fuck Bloodwake. I was a junior in high school when I was working through Bloodwake after school. The camera and controls were not the best, and I kept running into the proverbial break wall on one of the later levels. After what seemed like an eternity of failure, I punched the ground in frustration, breaking my hand in the process.
Oh, jeez.
I calmly told my mom I broke my hand. She gave me a bag of peas to ice it down with, and we went to the hospital the next morning. In a house with 2 boys, and I was playing rugby at the time. Broken bones were fairly common, so yes, fuck Bloodwake.
Ouch.
Yeah, I
can't say I've
remember
ever broken
Bloodwake
a
being
bone.
like okay, but that's like I've forgotten all things about actually playing it.
Yeah.
How many other games
I'm just
were
more-
there like it? None, right?
Yeah, I think that was the thing, is
Yeah.
that there just wasn't a lot else.
I was just more impressed.
that genre.
That's probably the most severe self-sustained injury I've heard of from somebody playing a game.
Yeah.
Breaking bones.
Actually breaking your hand,
It's usually a broken controller.
punching
or-
something is...
Yeah, maybe you punch some glass, you get cut up or something.
Yeah.
I one time made a really big donut in under 3 minutes and won a shirt and jumped up and punched the ceiling of the donut place and bursted my knuckle open. And then the poor lady working behind the counter was the most terrified. I had been drinking.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thanks, I still have the shirt.
Oh, great.
Shouts out to Bob's Donuts.
On bulk.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Neil from Ireland. I'm finally playing God of War on PS4, and I am noticing some pretty bad clipping when I choose any armor outside of Kratos wearing no armor at all. My question is this: great lighting is good, but nothing takes me out of the experience, quite like my character's armor morphing with their face. Will next gen finally solve clipping? I see all this talk about ray tracing, but nothing about Kratos' armor not combining with his chin. Do you think this next gen will finally have armor that doesn't clip with the protagonist? Can wearables in games finally act naturally? And then he immediately sent a reply to his own email saying, I can't stress how much clipping ruins the game experience. So much so that I replied to my own email.
The major thing that I want out of Street Fighter 6 is to fix Ken's hair.
Okay.
It
All
goes.
of it.
I want more
when he's on the second player side and he looks to the left, everything on his right side like clips through his shoulder. It's
Yeah.
embarrassing.
Yeah.
That's a
Birdie's
particularly
chain.
egregious.
Like, there's just all Laura's hair.
Yeah.
I remember that being
Oh,
some of
yeah.
the worst clipping I had ever seen.
It's so bad.
On just like
I,
a default
I
thing.
don't think
Fix the
this is
clip.
actually going to get better.
No, I don't either.
No, I don't.
I don't think it's like they can't solve it now if they just put the effort in, right?
I
And
don't
there
know.
are games that have solved this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, there's so
I
many.
imagine
There's
that's
so
a
many.
system, right? Like that's probably something that takes like CPU power or something.
Yeah,
like, hey, we've
probably not
realistically
that
modeled
much.
this stuff in such a way that there's a physics system
Right.
that keeps the hair
Like
from going
there's-
through
there's
this thing.
Collision on this, and they interact properly or whatever.
Self-collision. I don't
Yeah.
even know what you would call it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I don't know if this is a huge horsepower thing or not, so much as just like an attention to detail thing. I don't know.
yeah, I guess
Developers
it's
don't-
probably a bit of both. Yeah,
Let us know how hard it is to. Of course, at the same time, you always hear shit about like making things interact with each other in video games is like way harder than you think.
Right, totally. Like making things touch realistically. It's why swords don't.
Yeah, they
it's like
just-
swords just kind of hover on someone's back.
Weapons
a lot of
always
the
just
time.
like
or characters spawn of just a foot above the surface so they don't accidentally spawn inside of it and break the game.
Right,
You know, like weird little stuff, tricks like that.
It's right on the character select. I don't.
Yeah, the Ken one is
How
a
could
crazy
they not
one,
know?
'cause
How could they not know?
I just remember Birdie's chain like clipping through his mouth or something very vividly.
How can they be cool with that? I don't get it.
I reinstalled Tekken 7 yesterday.
Hey,
Played some of that.
Good.
Got online. Lost miserably.
yeah.
Well.
Ryan from South Wales.
Hi.
He writes in about the Horizon Zero Dawn coming to PC rumors. He says in the Jason Schreier story, he says the game is coming to Steam and Epic, which is cool. But my question is, do you think it's possible that Sony could ever release their own launcher for the PC in the future?
To release what?
Hey, anything's possible.
I guess anything's possible. It doesn't seem super likely to me, though.
Yeah.
Like, how many exclusives does Sony even have?
Yeah.
You know?
They're not. They wouldn't be in this. They wouldn't be releasing Horizon to try to grow that per se, right? I mean, they want to get the game out there and sell it, and they're fine doing that on other platforms.
Yeah.
Like they're not in it to try to build a customer base on PC, an exclusive customer base. If they wanted email addresses and stuff like that for users, they could just have like, oh, we brought PSN to PC, and when you open up Horizon, you need to link your account and do this stuff, and you'll get trophies and have friends. You know. Hey, buy a PlayStation.
Oh, I wonder if they will do trophies in their PC games. Huh. Yeah, it doesn't seem like the type of business.
It doesn't
they
seem like
would
that's
be-
the big benefit that they would be going for here if they did decide to put that game out on PC.
Yeah. Agreed. Liz from Queens. I was exploring a new neighborhood the other day and I saw a sign that just said vape beer. While it probably meant that the store sold both vapes and beers, I choose to believe that they sold beer that you can vape.
You vape any beer you try hard enough.
What beverage would you vape if you could?
Well, this is a thing, right? There are those bars that
Where
you can like
vape alcohol. Yeah.
yeah.
Or like, they're like, hey, we built a big room out of ice and then we're pumping vodka vapor into it, walk around, and you'll get wasted.
Drunk.
I think that'd be really interesting.
And
Also a nightmare.
Yeah.
Like, whoops, I accidentally fell asleep in the vodka room and now I'm dead.
Yeah. Yeah, that does sound dangerous. Holy shit.
Would you vape that Coca-Cola Zero Sugar Cherry
I would
Energy?
not. No, I would not.
I would love. Well, they already have it. I was gonna say I would love vapeable coffee, but there's already caffeine vapes,
Oh,
When I had
Of course there are. I never even thought about that. But yeah,
disposable little like.
When I had a roommate, he bought a thing for vaping alcohol, and it was a big glass ball with a little. It looked like just an elaborate crack pipe. It was just a big old ball, little stem coming off.
like something that would be in the top of a wizard's like
Totally,
staff.
yes. Yeah, except the stem immediately broke off. So it was just a ball with a tiny hole in it. And you would pour the alcohol into it and then set it over a candle.
Okay.
And it would vaporize in there.
Or
and then
spoon,
you would,
know.
yeah, exactly. Bend the spoon.
Yeah.
And then put the vodka in it. Then get your syringe. So I tried that. It sucked. I got lightheaded for a few minutes.
Yeah.
And then some. It was like, oh, this feels bad. And then it went away. And I didn't go like, now let's do it again. Like, no, it was just like, yeah, fuck this. This is terrible. It's terrible. It was terrible.
No, thank you.
Well, when we were developing the Jäger cube, that's like the complete opposite of vaping alcohol.
Exactly.
So I think we are on the right track with this.
Definitely. It's not a vapor cube. It's a Jäger cube.
That's right.
You decided to pass on vaping alcohol and went right back to butt chugging it.
And you know, you're
Exactly.
you should never drink on like an empty stomach. So you're actually getting full like while you're okay. All right.
There's calories in it.
Yeah.
James from Vancouver. With Brad having returned with some pretty impressive footage from Doom Eternal, I noticed that there were elements in Doom that coincide with other games like Celeste and Super Meat Boy. I was thinking to myself if this potentially opens up a first-person Super Meat Boy style challenge mode in the game, and was wondering what your thoughts are around this possibility. I think it would be cool if they like leaned all the way into some of that weird ass.
There was a game from a couple years ago. I don't know if any of you guys played it. Siam Speedrunners from Hell.
Yeah.
That I think is like a decent proof of concept of like you can kind of nail this Doom aesthetic, but with like a fast platforming twist on it. A little more, like it's less about shooting. There is shooting in it, but it's more about like movement, right? And that's kind of what the new Doom is really focusing in on, that movement stuff.
I feel like weren't there like Counter-Strike mods built around this sort of stuff, or like
Yeah, I can see it.
yeah, like surfing is similar. I totally think that they could do something like that, and it could like be pretty cool. Like we were talking about with Savage Planet, there's a crowd out there who just will not be into first-person platforming at all, ever, in any form.
Yeah, but I think that's one way to sell it in this game is for them to just lean all the way into it and just be like, all right, let's like stress these mechanics and see how hard we can actually make it.
But yeah, you could do some time attack type things.
Yeah.
Just like, hey, we built a level that's full of this stuff, and every kill you get takes 2 seconds off the timer. Go. You know, like that's the arcade modes wasn't that far away from that in any way.
Imagine if they had something like a course creator where you could like build these little like
some kind of snap map technology.
Yeah, did I
speed run arenas?
Did I see there's like no mods in that game? Period.
Oh,
I'm not sure.
In Doom Eternal?
Yeah,
I don't know.
not sure how they're dealing with that. Definitely no snap map this time. Snap map.
The map that snaps.
Yeah.
I mean, were there any mods for Doom 2016?
I guess not outside of that stuff. I guess not. A couple of emails about Winamp. Luca from Vancouver. While talking about Winamp skins, you mentioned Justin Frankel and wondered what he's up to these days. I'm a sound designer, and I can tell you that many of us in game audio don't have to wonder. For the last 10 years or so, Justin and a handful of other developers have been building Reaper.
Yeah.
The program, I didn't know that. The program I use every day to create sounds.
Cool.
It's become incredibly popular versus the old industry standards of Pro Tools and a new window over the past few years. For several reasons, because it's cheap. It isn't hot garbage on Windows the way Pro Tools used to be. It's user extensible if you know how to script and doesn't suck you into a proprietary ecosystem of USB sticks and authorizations. It just works and well. Many of the games you played last year, to say nothing of films, albums, and podcasts, had all of their audio designed and delivered in what was once the program Justin Frankel developed because he wanted a better tool for making his personal music.
Yeah. Reaper is weird. I've tried it. So Reaper actually was the suggested, or maybe even the only way to author music for Rock Band Network.
Huh.
Like
okay.
they had a Reaper set up. Like their tutorial was like, use Reaper to do this and do this and do that. And I was like,
huh.
And I think I was like, man, every time I've tried to use Reaper, it's been a nightmare. I'm done. And did not make anything for Rock Band Network. But yes.
Huh, yeah.
And then didn't he also do, is it Kakos? OS?
Yes. So
that's like I think like a live music, or was that the big cross-shaped fucking guitar pedal?
Somebody else wrote in about that. I'm not sure what that. I think is that also a company name? Yeah, it's also a company.
Okay.
Kakos Incorporated, founded in 2004. Oh, that's the company. That is technically the company that puts out Reaper.
Okay.
Also, so I guess that's just his company.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Reaper is cheap, huh? I just looked it up. It's $60 for a discounted license or $225 for a commercial.
We might need one.
Commercial license, which
soon.
Not that much in the grand scheme of commercial software.
FL Studio is actually really in that price range also. So there's definitely like good Windows music making tools that are affordable these days.
Here's the other Winamp email from Aaron in Florida. You guys were talking about Winamp in last week's show, and it gave me weird flashbacks. I wasn't old enough to ever use Winamp, but it was my dad's favorite player. I'm going to say right now, reading the line, Winamp was my dad's favorite player. It's never made me want to hang it up more.
What about WinPlay 3? Talk about the MP3 players that truly mattered.
He would make these mixtapes, these mixed CDs for car trips, but every single one ended with an 18-second track of Winamp, It Really Whips the Llama's Ass. Every trip, every CD for over a decade. It's etched in my brain, and I never even got the joy of using the player.
So what I'm hearing
find
here,
that MP3.
What I'm hearing here is that your dad is a gigantic dork.
Yeah, it's great. Sounds like a great dad. You want to be a dork as a dad, IMO.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's got llamas in the background.
It does.
Wait, had you never heard it?
No.
Oh my God, are you kidding?
That's like the
Holy shit.
I told you
that
last
is.
time
That
don't know
file
what
came
Winamp
with
is.
Winamp.
Yeah, it was included in wow.
When you opened Winamp, it would play that for the first time.
Also, I never appreciated how much that delivery of Winamp at the beginning sounds like morning zoo crew kind of radio.
They clearly went to someone's
Sunday.
radio
running a prep service,
station intro type stuff.
and then like it's this weird like that's just a thing Wesley Willis said in a song, like the whipping of a llama. Like that's
okay.
So it's weird. It's all weird.
Yes, that is quite odd.
I miss it.
Okay. Should this be the last email?
Probably.
Looking at it, it probably should. It's from Merrick in Charleston, South Carolina. Has Jeff been keeping up with the free Xbox avatar trash? Forget Twitter profile icons. Full body Xbox avatar anime wear.
Hell yeah.
I should just read you some of the names of these avatar items that he sent in. Anime Katana Hat W. Anime Hero P Shirt B. Anime Gamer Sniper Black Shirt B. Sure enough, if you eyeball this t-shirt,
Yeah.
it is totally a gamer t-shirt of an anime lady with a sniper rifle.
Great.
And
Great. I need
She
those.
kills you in the game. She kills you in real life.
Oh, fuck. Well, I don't want that.
anime gamer sniper shirt.
No,
bad-
that's great.
that's a bad
I
phrase.
forgot that the Avatar stuff even existed.
Yeah, like
they ended up rebuilding
They
it.
relaunched that whole
they
thing,
got
and
new avatars.
I feel like it's like totally invisible if you don't go looking for it.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh, like anything else on the Xbox One.
Oh,
Impossible
I have
to
heard
find.
they have made real improvements to the My Games and Apps, like game enumeration
Yes.
experience or whatever.
I also heard that. Also, they rebuilt that. Like they moved around Mixer and all that shit. Like,
Oh,
the whole,
right.
like there's been photos going around for a while of a new
Yeah.
rebuilt dashboard, like a home screen, but none of that stuff has made it out of the preview rings yet. I would like to see that stuff while the Xbox One still is relevant.
Oh, sure.
Hopefully it'll come out soon. All right. Calling it on emails. That is it.
That's it.
All right.
I believe Jan's shaking his head down there. What does it mean?
No, that's it.
What does it
No
mean?
more.
Please
man.
send in stories of your dorky dad's Winamp fucking playlist.
Or if you're a dorky dad.
Yeah.
Return to form on the after show this week?
Yeah, we'll be back. We'll be here today.
We'll be here today.
Doing a true after show.
True. Immediately after.
I mean,
show.
it was after the East.
Yeah, it was
show.
after the Bombcast.
Yeah,
it was on Wednesday.
Yeah, last week it was just more after.
Yeah. Now it is.
Any show is an after show. Any show is a pre-show.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
Stay tuned for the pre-show.
Coming up right after this.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Well, on that note, we are going to depart. Thanks everybody for listening. We'll see you next week.